A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
This is a maximum security prison. We haven't had an escape in years.
Well, you have one now, Warden. Tom Nixon.
How can you be sure?
I saw him in New York City 2 days ago.
Did you know him well?
Well enough. He was my mother's star boarder for years. Why, I sat opposite him at the dinner table from the time I was a girl of 15 until he murdered her. And now somehow he's escaped from here and he's after me.
Miss Rhodes, it's impossible, I say.
Warden Gray, 10 years ago, when Mother was found murdered, I knew it couldn't have been anyone but Tom. I testified against him. I was the chief, practically the only witness of the trial. And when they sentenced him here for life, he swore to kill me. He swore in the open court to get even with me. For 10 years I've lived in deadly fear of him. And now he's free.
Where exactly did you see the prisoner, Miss Rhodes?
That's just the point. That's why I know he's after me. I saw him in the building where I live.
Well, I don't see how.
He has a job there, running the elevator at night. I live all alone in a small 3-room penthouse on the 18th floor of an office building. The other night, about a week ago, I came home alone from the movie, after midnight. I was already in the elevator before I noticed there was a new night man. It was Tom. His hair had turned white and there was a stoop to his shoulders, but everything about him, the crook of his head, his high, thin nose, the hollow cheekbones were all the same. And then he turned and stared at me. I could see those deadly, pale, cold eyes, those heavy eyebrows, that familiar, quiet, sarcastic mouth.
What floor, miss?
Oh, my floor. Yes, the penthouse, please.
The penthouse. Where's that? On the roof?
Yes, on the roof, please. 18th floor.
Okay.
It's like being in a cage with a wild beast. Just watching him. Hearing that move furtively as the elevator moved upward with agonizing slowness. I shrank back to hide my face. The light in the car was dim. My only hope was that he didn't recognize me.
Here's your floor, miss.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Good night. You can go back down. I don't need anything, thank you.
What's the matter? Did you forget your key?
No, it's just... It's right here in my bag. I'll find it in a minute.
Want me to let you in?
Let me in? Why, no.
I got pass keys to all the doors. It's no trouble.
No thanks, but no. Oh, here. I have it right here. Good night.
In just a moment, we will return for the second act of Suspense. Since show business is the business of entertainment, performers are far from dull folk. Now, this is a matter you'll have fun verifying each Sunday night when the Mitch Miller Show brings sparkling show business chatter your way over these CBS radio stations. So give Mitch Miller and his guests a listen and prove it to yourself. Now, an average attendance at one of Mr. M's soirees might include a Broadway actress chatting about her craft with a comedian. Around on the other side of the round table, you might hear a singer try out a few songs for size and a film director or producer also in attendance. But no matter who's on hand for this happy open house, no matter what stars of the entertainment world are bandying the banter about, you can be sure a good time will be had by all, yourself included. So Sunday nights, get better acquainted with your favorite limelight personalities on The Mitch Miller Show.
was the first time you saw him?
Yes, Warden.
And that was all he did? Or said?
Yes, but it wasn't so much what he said as the awful feeling that he was only playing with me, torturing me until he was ready to kill me. Warden Graves, I don't even have a telephone. I've always been afraid to be listed in the phone book. And the only way up to that penthouse is by that one elevator. I was trapped up there at his mercy.
What did you do?
Spent the night crouched against the wall with a flat iron in my hand, waiting for that key to click in my lock.
But it didn't?
No, it didn't. The next day I began to wonder if I wasn't imagining the whole thing. Then that night...
What do you mean, Miss Rhodes?
Calling from the shop. Sarcastic smile about it. The kind of smile I didn't give him up.
You think he recognized you then?
Recognized me? Warden Graves, I haven't changed. Perhaps I've grown a little thinner, but don't you see, he'd come there only to trap me. He'd taken that particular job, plotted, schemed. It was only a question of when he was going to do it, when the axe was going to fall. He kept grinning at me as I stepped out of the elevator. And then just as I was going to bed... Oh, is it? Who's there?
Excuse me, Miss Rhodes. There wasn't any answer to my ring.
What do you want? What are you doing here?
It's your laundry. They told me to put it inside in case you weren't home.
You might have given me time to answer the door.
I'm sorry, Miss Rhodes. I'm very sorry.
Don't let it happen again. Good night.
I was just thinking, you've got no way to get up here or down except in my elevator.
No.
Even the sailor's elevator doesn't get up this far, does it? You're really all alone up here, aren't you?
Tom, if you come any closer, I'll kill you. I'll kill you with my bare hands.
I don't understand what you're talking about, miss. I don't understand what you're talking about. There's my buzzer. I better answer.
In a moment, we will return for the third act of Suspense. Ever notice the way Pepsi-Cola has of disappearing fast? It's easy to understand when you remember how every ice-cold ounce of Pepsi tingles with a taste that everybody in the family enjoys. And then, too, there's no time limit on Pepsi. Day or night, with meals or by itself, work days or weekends, for parties or all by yourself. But the thing that really makes Pepsi go fast is its light touch. Pepsi always refreshes lightly, without filling. So a Pepsi just never tastes like too much. To make sure your supply of Pepsi meets the demand, always buy an extra carton or two. You can't run a household without it.
Being sociable, keep up to date with Pepsi. Drink light, refreshing Pepsi. Stay out there at Debonair. Be sociable, have a Pepsi.
Seen him since, Warden. I barricaded myself in again that night, and next morning I got down to the public phone and put through the call to you. But it wasn't any use.
That was the day I was out of town?
Yes, but I still don't see why they couldn't have told me. After all, I was giving them information.
Well, it's one of our strictest regulations at Ottawa State Penitentiary never to discuss any of our prisoners over the telephone.
That's what they said.
So, you came all the way out here in person.
Yes.
Now, you want me to send someone to apprehend this man?
I want you to bring him back. That's all. Back where he belongs.
Miss Rhodes, I can't bring Tom Nixon back. He's here.
Oh, no. No, Warden Graves, please. I've seen him with my own eyes. I've talked to him face to face. Maybe there's someone here calling himself Tom Nixon. But he's escaped. He's free. I know it.
Will you just step this way with me, Miss Rhodes?
No, I don't want to see. I don't want to see his cell or talk to anybody.
Tom Nixon is dead, Miss Rhodes. He's buried in the prison cemetery. I'd like for you to see his grave. Now, this is a photograph taken of him just a week before he died. He wasted away quite a bit. He was in the infirmary all last year. Became very religious, too, toward the end. Spent a good deal of his time praying.
Praying?
Yeah. The whole fight seemed to go out of him as soon as he knew that he was seriously ill. Now, you'd say this is his picture? Wouldn't you, Miss Rhodes?
Yes. Yes, it's Tom, all right.
These little personal belongings. Ordinarily, we turn these over to the family, but in Tom's case, well, we couldn't trace the family. Now, you would recognize these as his?
Yes, I don't know them all, but that gold watch. He used to wear it every Sunday. His mother's.
He wrote a couple of notes before he died to a fellow prisoner and to the prison chaplain. Yes. You recognize his handwriting?
Yes. This seems to be Tom.
Well, Miss Rhodes, you feel a little better about your elevator operator now?
You must think me a fool. An awful fool.
No, not at all.
But the likeness was so extraordinary. It was almost like seeing a ghost.
A ghost? Oh, come on, Miss Rhodes. Now that you've gotten all this off your chest, isn't it perfectly obvious? That poor night man's done nothing or said nothing to you at all out of the ordinary. It's only that, well, you seem to be the victim of some kind of a guilt complex.
Guilt complex? Well, I'm not guilty of anything.
No, what I mean is that Tom has been on your mind now for 10 years. You testified against him. He threatened you. Gradually, you came to see him everywhere.
No, only this once. Only these last few nights.
All right. But now you know the truth. That should clear your fears forever. Tom's dead and buried. Go back and take a look at this night man again. Now that you know Tom's dead, I'll lay odds the whole resemblance will vanish.
I hope so.
My advice to you, Miss Rhodes, would be to go straight home. Use that elevator as much as possible. Get acquainted with that man. For your own sake, try to get the better of these hallucinations. So that's all they are. Just hallucinations.
In a moment, we continue with the concluding act of Suspense. Hi. Maybe you'll recall this tuneful reminder of times past. Dennis James with something else worth remembering. It's this. You're so right to stay regular with Kellogg's All-Bran. See, it's the normal, natural way to eat for regularity. The whole brand content of Kellogg's All-Bran supplies your system with all the bulk-forming food that you need every day. There's only one All Bran. It's Kellogg's All Bran. So relieve irregularity from lack of bulk as Mrs. do with a bowl full of Kellogg's All Bran each morning. ALL-BRAN. It's Kellogg's All Bran.
Good evening.
Evening, miss.
Could you help me with these bags, please?
Okay. That all, miss?
Yes, thank you. This is for you, Charles.
No, thank you, miss. I never take tips.
No, it's all right. I'd like you to have it. I'm sure the superintendent won't mind.
The superintendent hasn't anything to do with it.
No. Well, aren't we going to start?
Yeah. All right. Been out of town?
Why, yes, I have.
Yeah, I haven't seen you for a couple of nights.
I was in the country visiting with a friend.
Oh.
It's beautiful weather out in the country this time of year.
I wouldn't know.
Well, my floor already.
No, it's not.
Then why are we stopping?
The elevator's stuck. Power's cut off.
Cut off?
Uh-huh.
But how could that happen? It's never happened before as long as I've lived here.
Well, sooner or later, I guess it had to happen.
Well, isn't there some way we can I get it back on? Some buzzer for the cellar or something?
If the power's off, the buzzer isn't working. So I wonder the lights are still on.
The lights?
Yeah. They'll probably go out in a minute, though, and then it'll be black in here. Black as the grave.
Oh. Let's get out of here. Open the door.
Can't. She won't budge.
But you haven't even tried.
I don't have to try. We're stuck between floors. The door's flush with solid wall.
Solid wall?
Yeah. Kind of like being bricked up in a cell.
But there must be some way out of here. Isn't there a little door in the roof? Something you can pry open? Something you can climb up out of and into the shaft?
Don't see any.
But what are we going to do? What are we going to do?
Wait.
Wait.
Wait until somebody comes along downstairs and finds the elevator stuck and then rings up the superintendent.
But that might be ours.
Might be.
No!
You're wasting your breath. Everybody's left the building. I know because they're all signed out. Nobody's down in the basement. And there won't be any passengers ringing for an elevator this time of night.
You seem awfully sure about all that.
Jumpy, ain't you?
No, I suppose really there's nothing to be afraid of. Sooner or later, they'll come.
Oh, sure. Sooner or later.
It's just that being stuck up here between me.
You're not jumping on account of me.
You? I know. No, of course not.
But you were kind of jumpy the other night. With me. Weren't you?
Other night?
When I brought the laundry into your apartment. Unexpectedly.
Oh, that? Well, that was a mistake.
A mistake?
I just thought you were someone else, a friend of mine. Someone I've always been afraid of.
Oh.
But now I've learned it couldn't be you because this friend's dead. Dead and buried.
Dead and buried?
Yes.
What was his name? Maybe I know him.
Oh. The lights went out.
I knew they'd go sooner or later.
No, they can't see. I can't see her alone in the dark with you.
Oh. So you are jumpy with me?
No.
I thought you said this guy was dead and buried.
He is. I saw his grave.
What are you screaming? What are you screaming like that?
so dark in here. So close and creepy and...
What did you do to this friend that makes you so jumpy?
Do to him? Well, nothing. I didn't do a thing.
No?
It was he. He threatened me. He was a murderer. He killed my mother in cold blood 10 years ago. He was our boarder for 10 years. And one afternoon... Don't move! Don't move!
I'm not moving. Go on.
One afternoon, I came home and there was Mother lying on the floor with her throat. No! No, where are you? I can't see her!
Go on.
No, I can't stand it! I can't stand it! Tom! It's you, Tom, isn't it?
I thought you said your friend was dead and buried.
Stop it! Stop torturing me! Tell me the truth. You escaped, didn't you? You didn't die. And it was someone else's grave. Just as I thought you escaped and found me here. Answer me! John, where are you? I can't see you! No, John! John, no! I didn't mean it. I didn't mean to send you there. It was only because I loved Tom. I loved you for years and hated Mother. And I hated you for loving her. It was only to get revenge on you both that I killed her and framed you. Oh, Tom, Mother was so cruel to me. She treated me like a slave. And all the time, holding you in my face. You've not spoken one kind word to me, Tom, as a child. One word to let me know you loved me. You're going to kill me. Aren't you, Tom? No, Tom, I don't want to die! I don't want to die! Why are we going down?
There's a passenger ringing in the lobby.
Then you're not Tom?
No, miss.
You're not going to kill me?
Not me.
It was all just a crazy hallucination, like the warden said. Just because the power went off and you look so much like John Nixon. Oh, forgive me. Please forgive me for being so absurd.
There's nothing to forgive.
And you'll forget about those silly things I said, won't you? I didn't mean them. It was just because I was beside myself.
What silly things, ma'am?
Oh, those silly things about my mother and Tom. Here, this is for you. No, I insist this time. I insist.
I'm sorry. But I'm afraid I never accept tips.
Oh, but please.
Particularly from a dame who framed my twin brother. Good evening, Warden.
Good evening, Lieutenant Nixon.
She's confessed.
Yes, I thought she would, Lieutenant.
No.
Suspense. You've been listening to Nightman, written for Suspense by Lucille Fletcher. In a moment, the names of our players and a word about next week's story of Suspense. How would you like to make a new friend? For students and teachers in Japan, young people in their 20s, in the new nations of Africa and Southeast Asia, and adults all over the free world want to make friends with you. They want to know how you live, what kind of food you eat, what kind of work you do, what you read, what you do for entertainment. In other words, They want to know all about the American way of life. Now, you can make a wonderful new acquaintance simply for the cost of a postage stamp. And all you have to do is this. If you are between the ages of 16 and 60, just drop a line to Letters Abroad, 45 East 65th Street, New York, 21, New York, stating your age and your principal interest. And also, please enclose a stamped, self-addressed envelope. Letters Abroad will then put you in touch with an interesting correspondent overseas.
Another tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
The City That Was, written for Suspense by Richard Weil. When you need someone to do a specific type of job, you hire someone specially trained to do that job. After all, this is an age of specialization. But what you may not know is that right now, there are several 100,000 men and women who have received special training and are searching for employment. Now, these folks, many of whom are veterans, have physical handicaps, which actually often makes them better able to fill specific jobs. Does that sound strange? Well, maybe so, but here's the explanation. These men and women, recognizing their shortcomings, have sought and received special rehabilitation and training in specific areas of work. They are highly skilled because they've been taught to make best use of the physical and mental abilities they possess. So if you're looking for help, contact your state employment service and ask about physically handicapped workers. Employing the physically handicapped is good business. It is now 50 years since the first motion picture was made, amidst the orange groves of a sleepy little California village called Hollywood, and a latter-day gold rush began. Hollywood quickly became a sprawling, brawling boom town, and true to the tradition of the western frontier, a tradition it helped to create and has fondly fostered, Hollywood lived violently, and not a few of its citizens died violently, with and sometimes without their boots on. The stakes were high, worldwide fame, an undreamt of fortune. And the passions that poured onto the silver screen sometimes spilled over into private lives with lethal results. In a moment, The City That Was, by Richard Weil. This Halloween, when your doorbell rings, give those little trick-or-treaters a treat they'll never forget. Snap their picture and give them a print. But before next Monday night rolls around, get several packs of Sylvania Blue Dot Flash Bulbs, the world's largest-selling brand. Because only with Flash can you catch all the fun and color of Halloween. Only with Flash can you get all the clear, sharp details. What's more, flash bulbs work with any film, anytime, day or night, anywhere, with any camera. So this week, when you're out shopping, be sure and ask for Sylvania Blue Dot Flash Bulbs. And also ask for your free 32-page flash guide book, designed by Sylvania to help you take better flash pictures. Remember, it's yours free with the purchase of only one pack of Sylvania Blue Dots. But hurry, the witches will be flying before you know it. So get your Sylvania Blue Dot Flash Bulbs today.
Hollywood of 35 years ago. There was a town for you. It flamed with color. It bubbled with intrigue. And it frequently simmered with sin. Gods and goddesses strolled the boulevard in those days and rode to the studio in their $20,000 custom-built Rolls Royces. It was the era of Valentino and Mabel Normand and Wallace Reed, of Barbara Lamar and William Desmond Taylor and William S. Hart, and the great vamps, Nita Naldi, Pola Negre, Peter Barrow. It was the era, too, of Anthony Kendall, matinee idol turned movie king, and his leading lady, Rena Chalfanti, who used to be called the golden flame of the silver screen. You must remember them. And how they were tied up with the Korsakov killing? All the facts of that cause célèbre were not told at the time, but they can be told now. And this is what really happened that rainy night in November, 35 years ago. Tony and Rena had finished a long day's shooting. It was nearly 7 o'clock when Tony tooled his big white Cunningham roadster into the driveway of his Whitley Heights estate. He stopped the car under the arch of the entrance gate and was reaching for the electric control button when a masked figure with a gun stepped out from the darkness.
All right. Hold it right there.
What is this?
It's the end of the line for you, big shot.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. Here's where your boyfriend gets what's coming to him.
Tony, it's Bart Malloy.
Now, that wasn't very smart to recognize me, Rena. Now, you go with him.
All right, Bart. Cut the melodrama. You're drunk. Now go on home and sleep it off. I'll see you at the studio tomorrow.
There isn't going to be any tomorrow for you two. Because I'm going
Look out, Bart, behind you! Let go of that gun, Bart. Let go.
Oh, you don't? I said I'd kill
Go,
you.
I say!
That's better.
Now, I'll just unload it so nobody can get hurt. Here. You can have it back now. Now go on home and get some shut-eye. I'll see you in the morning.
So you can fire me in front of the whole crew?
How did you know we were going to...
Not we, you. I heard all about it an hour ago. Alec Benson didn't want to let me out. You're the one who cut my throat. So you might as well call the cops and do the complete job on me.
I have no intention of calling the cops.
Why not? That would make your day perfect.
Now, look, Bart. Suppose we forget all about this, All three of us. Right, Rena?
Of course.
Gee, that's big of you. Both of you. Maybe someday I can pay you back.
Now go on home, Bart. You need sleep.
Sure, that's all I need. Just a little sleep. And thanks, Tony. Thanks for everything.
Tony,
Yes, darling.
would you mind driving me straight on home?
Well, what about dinner?
Oh, I don't feel much like eating now. I just want to go home.
All right.
Tony, why did you put Barton on the picture in the first place?
He was on the skits. There wasn't a casting director in town who'd hire him.
You and your big heart. Don't you know that the surest way to make a man hate you is to do him a kindness?
Maybe. But he promised he'd go on the wagon.
So the first day, he showed up pink-eyed as a rabbit and chewing cloves to camouflage the smell of whiskey.
He's always chewed cloves as long as I've known him.
Sure he has. It's the trademark of an alcoholic. Tony, you know, he scares me.
Ah, don't be silly, darling. Bart may be a lush, but he's not a murderer.
In just a moment, we will return for the second act of Suspense.
So people come in to me and they say, Otto, you were once a great chef. Because I am now selling meat in my butcher shop, one sometimes forgets I know lots about cooking meat, too. So I'll let you in on a little cooking secret of mine. French's Worcestershire sauce. Aha! Only French's Worcestershire has in it a collection of spices we Germans know accentuate the good flavor of meat. French's also has soy, anchovies, tamarinds. I could go on, but these ingredients do to everyday food. Mouth-watering. May I suggest you try this with pot roast? Add 1 tablespoon French's Worcestershire to each cup of gravy. Would you believe the difference? With French's, you really spark up your meals. And people will say, my goodness, but you're a wonderful cook, just as they used to say to me.
Of course, Bart Malloy didn't take Tony's advice and go home. The evening was still young, and in his misery he needed company. So he headed for Henry's on Hollywood Boulevard. Everybody went to Henry's in those days. It was packed every night with actors, directors, writers, producers, come to see and be seen, and to partake of Henry's wonderful turkey sandwiches, his fabulous German pancakes, and his fragrant coffee. Malloy is downing cup after cup of it now, each one generously laced with whiskey from his hip flask. Also, he's airing his grievances to Fritz, the friendly waiter who knows him well.
So, I take a drink. One measly drink. Yeah. And he tosses me off the picture. He's a louse, that's what he is. Star-spangled louse.
Nein, Mr. Malloy, das ist nicht so. Mr. Kendall's a fine gentleman, a real fine gentleman.
Yeah. I'll tell you something, Fritz. I'm going to fix your fine gentleman's wagon for him if it's the last thing I ever do.
Oh, you shouldn't say such things, Mr. Malloy, especially such a time as this. Just so soon as he's finished his picture, he and Miss Alfante will be...
I know. Maybe I ought to figure out a nice present for him, huh?
That sounds better, Mr. Malloy. You know something? I always thought Miss Alfante would marry that Russian director. What's his name?
Korsakov.
Oh, yeah.
Sergei Korsakov, yeah. Sure were crazy about each other until Tony came along. Fritz, huh? You may not know, but you just gave me a terrific idea.
Bart Malloy lost no time in putting his terrific idea into action. First, he telephoned the director, Sergei Korsakov, and made a date to drop by his apartment later that evening. Then he called Raina Chalfonte and employed his not inconsiderable talent as a mimic.
Hello?
Hello, this is Hollywood 2749.
Yes, it is.
May I speak, please, with Miss Chalfonte? I'm Dr. von Kesselring, Dr. Friedrich von Kesselring.
This is Miss Chalfonte, Doctor.
I am Mr. Korsakov's physician, Miss Chalfonte. I have, I regret to say, some unhappy news for you.
Well, is something the matter with Sergei?
He has suffered a coronary occlusion.
Oh, no.
Malloy counted on the rainy streets and the fact that Rena had to come all the way in from Beverly Hills to give him the time he needed with Korsakov. 5 minutes later, he pulled up in front of the Russian director's house, high in the Hollywood Hills. Well, not exactly in front of the house, for it perched 60 feet above the street and was reached by a private elevator which opened on the sidewalk. Very futuristic, a Hollywood showplace at the time, this hideaway of the mad Russian. Malloy pushed the bell. The elevator door clicked open. And a moment later, he stepped out of the cage into Sergei Korsakov's living room.
Hello, Sergei.
How are you, my friend? It's good to see you.
Good to see you. Is this a lousy night?
For me, it's perfect. I sit before the fire and I try to solve chess problems. You will have some tea? Over there is some water.
Tea?
Also brandy, whiskey, vodka. Choose it for yourself.
Well, maybe just a little one. You know, to cut the fog.
Good. Now, sit down and tell me why you call me.
Well, Sergei, I need some advice.
Well, I will be glad to.
It's like this. I'm going to come out of this picture I'm on with quite a bit of dough. You told me you'd been buying real estate, remember?
I have quite a bit of property in Santa Monica.
Santa Monica? That's too far out. Like the San Fernando Valley. Can't tell me that people are ever going to go all the way out there. Hey, I thought you said you were going to be alone tonight.
I expect no one.
Maybe your luck is changing, huh, boy? Now, don't get up. I'll send the elevator back down. And I'll just slip out the service entrance.
But I assure you, Bob...
I know. Probably your maiden aunt just in from Vladivostok. Just the same, I'll go out the back way so as not to embarrass the lady.
You have it a dirty mind, my friend. I would suggest that you... But what does it mean? The gun?
I guess you might say it means goodbye, Sergei.
Malloy moved fast now. He wiped his fingerprints from the smoking gun and from the whiskey glass. Then he dropped the gun to the floor and headed for the service entrance. He was gone when the elevator stopped and Rena walked into the living room to discover Sergei's bullet-riddled body sprawled on the floor. When the police arrived, summoned by a neighbor who heard the shooting, they found her there, gun in hand, kneeling over the body, sobbing over and over.
Who did it, Sergei? Who did it? Who did it?
In a moment, we'll return for the third act of Suspense.
Hi, this is Dennis James with a longtime favorite. Yes, the longtime favorites are usually the best, aren't they? And one favorite folks have relied on over the years is Kellogg's All Brand. Since 1919, America's favorite natural laxative cereal. Kellogg's All Brand is the safe, gentle way to overcome irregularity caused by lack of bulk in your diet. It tastes good, too, and it never gets mushy in milk. There's only one All Brand, Kellogg's All Brand. So relieve constipation the way millions do with Kellogg's All Brand. ALL-BRAN. Yes, you're so right to stay regular with Kellogg's All Brand. Try it, okay? Okay.
They allowed Rena Chalfanti one phone call. Naturally, she called Tony Kendall. But there wasn't much he or his attorney could do for her, since there's no bail on a murder charge. So Tony went to the scene of the crime, and there he found that an old friend of his was in charge of the investigation, Sergeant K of Homicide.
I'm sorry, Tony, but it just don't look good for your girlfriend.
But Rena is no killer.
That's not for me to say. I can only go by the evidence I find, and, well, it all points to her.
But where's the motive? Rena had no motive.
She might have.
What do you mean?
Well, this is just a theory, of course.
All right. Let's have it.
You may not like it, Tony.
I told you. Go ahead.
Well, she and Korsakov were, they were pretty good friends before you came along, right?
Yeah.
So maybe he's still in love with her. Maybe he doesn't want her to marry you. Maybe he threatens to do something to stop the wedding.
I see. And maybe she shoots him.
Right.
Wrong. Marty, Rena is not a killer.
Maybe, but it looks like she did it.
You've been all over the place, I suppose.
Stem to stern. And everything's strictly copacetic, except for a whiskey glass with no fingerprints on it.
A what?
This one right here, see? Somebody had a shot of bourbon out of it, and then wiped off the prints.
Oh, wait a minute. Sergei didn't drink.
He didn't? Well, then, maybe your girlfriend...
Here we go with that maybe routine again. Now, Marty, for your information, Rena isn't a drinker either. That samovar over there is more in her line.
Oh, so that's what you call that thing. What's it for?
For making tea. Russian style.
What's all this stuff in these little saucers?
Oh, lemon peel, cinnamon, rose petals, cloves. They put it in the tea.
All at once?
No. One at a time.
Oh. Well, then Korsakov must have been a clove boy. We found a lot of them on the floor.
Cloves, And a whiskey glass.
Yeah. You got a theory?
Maybe I have.
What is it?
I'll let you know when I've proved it.
just a moment, we will return for the concluding act of Suspense.
You know, there are millions of motorists in this country. Most of them are careful, law-abiding drivers who are smart enough to know that it pays to be careful, but it takes only one careless act to cause a serious accident. So don't break the law of the road or the law of averages. Drive carefully all the time. First of all, don't speed. More highway deaths are caused by excess speed than by anything else. Second, drive with your head as well as with your hands and feet. Use sound judgment in your driving and develop good driving habits. And finally, be courteous. Don't be afraid to give the other fellow a break. You'll both live longer. And here are a few pointers for safer driving. Pass the car ahead only when you're absolutely sure it's safe. Don't take chances. Always allow plenty of space between your car and the car ahead. At least one car length for every 10 miles per hour you're traveling. And at night, dim your bright lights when approaching another car. Now, by following these safety rules, you can help cut down on accidents.
Tony Kendall was in makeup and on the set at 8 o'clock the next morning. The cameras were in place, and the lights were all set up for the climax scene of Passion Lost, the big fight scene. Alec Benson, the director, greeted Tony with the long face usually reserved for funerals.
Tony, I just heard about Rena. What a terror.
All right. Save your sympathy. She's innocent.
Oh, of course. But what's it going to do to our shooting schedule?
You're just chock full of compassion, aren't you?
Well, I mean...
How's the great man this morning?
Good morning, Bart.
Who's going to lower the boom? You or Alec?
Well, Bart...
I told you last night we'd forget all about it, Bart.
I thought you meant...
You're still on the picture, Bart.
But, Tony, I've already hired...
You heard me, Alec.
Tony, I don't know what to say.
Let's save it. Let's get on with the fight scene.
Okay. Now, this has got to top any fight scene that's ever been photographed.
Sam! I can't hear myself think! All right, you guys, hold them handles!
Now, we've got to make this brawl in the spoilers look like a chorus boys' picnic. Now, I want...
Look where you're going, knucklehead! Don't trip over those cables!
Will you please knock it off, Sam? You make more noise than the hammers.
Sorry, Mr. Benson.
Now, let's get the suspense of the fight in Tolerable David, the brutality of Noah Beery and the Sea-Wolf, the cruelty of...
Look, Alec, why don't you let Bart and me sort of work it out by ourselves first, Then we'll tell you how we see it, and if it's okay with you, we'll try a take.
Well, all right. Just call me when you're ready.
Fine. Come on, Bart. Let's block out the action. We begin here on the balcony when I find you coming out of Helena's room.
Sure.
Now, you go for your gun, but before you can get it out from under...
Tony.
Yes.
I want to thank you for keeping me on the picture.
It's all right, Bart. Now, as I was saying, when you...
I want you to know how sorry I am about Rena.
Are you really? Are you really sorry?
I sure am. Rena's one of the greatest...
Then you'll be happy to know that she did not kill Korsakov.
No? Then, who did?
Why, you did, Malloy. You killed him.
What? You must be out of your mind. What would I want
You killed him. And then you framed Rena. You did it for revenge. To get back at me.
You're talking like a maniac.
What about the clothes that dropped out of your pocket onto the...
Korsakov had clothes, too. They were by the samovar.
That does it. You were there, Malloy, weren't you? And you killed him.
Try and prove it.
I won't have to prove it. You're going to admit it.
I am, huh?
That's right. I am going to beat the truth out of you right now.
Keep away from me, Kendall.
Keep away! I'm going to... Ready, space.
Hey, Mr. Benson, look! Over on the side! Oh, for the love of... Wait a minute, Tony. Hold it, boys, until we can... Stay holding it, Mr. Venture. Oh, wow! What a jewel thrill, didn't it? Well, what are you standing there for? Let's get it on film. Lights! Larry, Paul, stop cranking those cameras. All right, you guys. You heard Mr. Benson. Lights! Camera! That's fine, Bob. Slam sit against that pillar. Good. Now, bring one up, Tony. Bring it up from your heels. And that's the idea. A real playmaker. You did it, you killed me. Get your hands up my throat. Can't breathe.
Now, tell me the truth, Malloy. Give it to me straight, or I will kill you right here and now.
Go a little easy on that strangle, Tony. The censors in Iowa may squawk about it.
Come on, Malloy. This is your last chance. Yes, I did it.
All right. Cut. Save those lights. Now, look, I realize I'm only the director around here. But even so, would you mind letting me in on...
Tell him, Malloy. Tell him, or I'll... I killed Korsakov. All right. Call Marty Kay, will you? Tell him we've got his killer for him. You better have a couple of the boys keep an eye on Malloy until he gets here.
What are you going to do?
Me? I'm going over and get my girl out of the jailhouse.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, a story out of the Hollywood of the 20s, the city that was. As you know, Rena and Tony Kendall are still one of the film capital's happiest couples. As a matter of fact, I had tea with them last week. Rena served from a great brass samovar, and I had my choice of sugar and cream and rum, of course. And then there were little china bowls filled with slivers of lemon peel and dried rose petals and sticks of cinnamon. But do you know something strange? There weren't any clothes.
Suspense.
You have been listening to The City That Was, written for Suspense by Richard Weil. In a moment, the names of our players and a word about next week's story of Suspense. Americans want peace and world friendship, and one of the most effective ways to achieve this ideal is to form personal, international friendships. To people all over the world, the United States is a land of wonder. They want to know more about us, how we live, what our homes and schools are like, what we do in our leisure time. Well, these people are anxious to correspond with you to become international pen friends. You can enrich your life and make a new friend for yourself and your country by striking up a correspondence with someone overseas. So, if you're between 16 and 60, drop a note giving your name, address, age, and a few facts about yourself to Letters Abroad, 45 East 65th Street, New York, 21, New York. Enclose a self-addressed stamped envelope, and that address again is Letters Abroad, 45 East 65th Street, New York, 21, New York. Heard in tonight's story were House Jameson as the narrator, Michael Caine as Bart Malloy, Martha Greenhouse as Rena, Bernard Grant as Kendall, and also included in the cast were Danny Ocko, Sam Raskin, and George Petrie. Listen again next week when we return with The Green Lorelei by George Bamber, another tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
WROW, Albany, New York.
Coming up, it's time once again for radio's outstanding theater of thrills.
Tonight, we turn the clock back to November 6th, 1960, show number 878. Herbert Duncan, John Gibson, Elizabeth Lawrence, and Ellen McRae, along with Robert Reddick, are heard in a story that tells us about Roger Adams, a Pulp Fiction writer. He tries to evade his landlord and meets a beautiful young woman living in the apartment upstairs. The Green Lorelei on the WRVO Playhouse.
And now, another tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
The Green Lorelei, written for Suspense by George Bamber.
My name is Adams. Roger Adams. Maybe you heard of me. I write for the pulp magazines. Mystery stories, horror stories at 2 and 3 cents a word. But then again, maybe you haven't. Because it's been a long time since I've written anything. Even longer since I've sold anything I've written. Maybe that's why nobody believes me. Because of what I did for a living. And what happened afterwards. It all happened in Los Angeles, a place they call the City of the Angels. I was living in a broken-down apartment house that overlooked that cultural desert that is the city of Hollywood. It was late at night, one hot, smoggy August. I'd spent the whole day sitting, staring at a typewriter that sat staring back at me. I hadn't been able to write a word for days. Finally, I got fed up with it all, and I took 50 cents of my last $2. I went down, I bought 2 bottles of cold beer. On my way back up to my...
Well, Mr. Adams.
Oh, Mrs. Snyder.
I thought if I listened at my door long enough, I'd catch you sneaking up and down stairs.
No, I wasn't sneaking.
Well, I'd like to know what you call it, walking on the sides of the steps that way.
Now, Mrs. Snyder, you have an extremely suspicious and unpleasant nature.
When are you going to pay me the money you owe me?
At the end of the week.
You've been saying that more than a month now.
Well, now this time it's true. I just sold another horror story to Authentic Mysteries, and the check is in the mail. Now, I thought it would be here today.
Well, I've heard that one before.
No, I swear it's true. Now, please, Mrs. Snyder, you have got to trust me. I will have the money for you by the end of the week.
Well.
Friday for sure. Everything I owe you. I promise.
Well, why can't you have a little of it now? On account, $5 or $10 maybe.
Because I don't have $5 or $10 maybe.
See, you got enough to spend on beer.
Mrs. Snyder, it cost me 50 cents for 2 bottles of beer, and that's all I've had all day. Now, if you like, there's a 2-cent deposit on each bottle. I'll bring them down to you when I'm done.
Now, don't get smart with me. I've been very lenient with you.
I told you you will get your money at the end of the week.
Well, you better. You don't, out you go. You hear me, Mr. Adams? If you don't pay the full rent by the end of the week, out you go. Back and back, you down on the street. I don't see why you can't get a job like normal men and pay your rent on time instead of fooling around with them mystery and horror magazines.
I stood with my back to the door until I regained my self-control. The room was still the same, the rumpled bed, the sock hanging from the sink, the litter of papers on the floor. I went to the kitchen, rummaged around till I found a can opener. The beer tasted disappointingly warm as the night, and sour and bitter as the day. I went to the typewriter, but it was no good. The same sheet of paper I'd rolled into it 5 days ago sat staring up at me. Blank white and unyielding. Finally, I turned off the light and I sat down in front of my window, staring out at the winking, blinking, happy lights of Hollywood, wondering what to do next. I was at the end of my rope. I was broke. At the end of the week, I'd be evicted for non-payment of rent. But worst of all, I couldn't write. Not a single idea came to my head. And then heard it many times before, sometimes when I sat unable to write, mostly at night. To me, she had the most beautiful voice of any woman I'd ever heard. And I imagined her to be like her voice, soft, lovely like her voice. But then it occurred to me that I didn't know what she looked like. In all the months I lived in Mrs. Snyder's apartment house, I'd never once seen her. I'd seen her husband many times. He went back and forth on his way to work. He was a short, ugly little man. It seemed impossible that he could be married to a woman who sang as beautifully as that. Suddenly I was overwhelmed with a desire to know who the woman was and what she looked like. I grabbed the cup from the kitchen and I raced up the stairs to the apartment above. Hi there. I'm Mr. Adams from the apartment below. So? Well, I hate to bother you, but I was just sitting down to dinner when I discovered that I was fresh out of coffee. I wondered if I could borrow some from you. I don't drink coffee. Oh? Well, how about tea? Just a couple of teaspoons full. I hate to eat a meal without something to drink, and I don't want to run down to the store and let my dinner get cold. Give me your cup. Took the cup and closed the door in my face before I could see anyone else in the apartment. But not before I got an impression of what it was like. It was laid out the same as mine, only cleaner. But it looked old and dirty. Maybe it was the furniture. It was old and black. It had been brought over from the old country or belonged to a man much older than Mr. Steinmetz, who had lived alone a long time. Here you are. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. You're, Mr. Steinmetz, aren't you? Yes, fine. Well, I thought that's who you were. I saw your name on the mailbox downstairs, and I thought I might as well introduce myself. I'm Mr. Adams in the apartment below. I know. And I thought since we live in the same building, there's no reason why we can't be neighbors as well as friends, huh? Well, is your wife at home? What makes you ask that? Well, on my way up, I heard a woman singing. I thought it was your wife and wanted to compliment her on what a beautiful voice she had. My wife is dead. Oh. Oh, I'm very sorry. Well, it must have been your daughter. You heard no woman here. Oh, Mr. Steinmetz, I stood right outside this door, and I heard her just as plain. You heard nothing. My wife is dead. I stood in the hallway stunned. I had heard a woman singing, I was sure of that. But why had he lied? I went back to my apartment trying to figure it out. I sat in the darkness with the warmer second bottle of beer and... more clearly and distinctly than I'd ever heard her before. There was a woman up there, I was sure of that now. But who was she, and what was she doing there, and why had the old man lied? Tomorrow when he went to work, I'd find out the answer to that. Well, the night passed slowly. The gray hours dawned slower still. 7 o'clock came, 7:30. At 8, I saw Eric Steinmetz leave the building with his lunch bucket under his arm. I knew he never returned home before 6. And that meant I had 10 hours. I wanted to rush upstairs right away, but I made myself wait until I was sure that she was there. At 10 o'clock, I was sure. I crept up the stairs of the hall, using the sides of the steps so they wouldn't creak. My heart beating in my mouth. The closer I got, the louder her voice became. And at the door, it sounded as if she was standing just on the other side. this is Mr. Adams, the man in the apartment below. I wonder if I could see you a moment. Mrs. Steinmetz? I knew she was there. Something was there. Through the wood of the door, I could hear breathing. Feel a heart beating. I had to see the inside of that apartment.
What do you mean you lost your key?
I didn't lose it. I left it in my room, and I locked myself out, and I wondered if I could borrow your master key.
I can't let anybody have that.
I only wanted for a minute just to open my door.
Well, why can't you hang on to your own key?
I told you it was an accident. It could happen to anybody.
You're the worst one I got. You don't pay your rent, you lock yourself out.
Please, Mrs. Snyder, let me have the key, Please. Now, I will run up, and I'll open the door, and I'll bring it right back.
Oh.
And I will have your rent for you at the end of the week.
Well, okay. But you bring it right back down here. I'll be waiting right here. I'll be waiting until you do. I don't want any funny business in my apartment.
As I ran up the stairs to my room, I fished out the pieces of wax I had put in my pocket. At the door, I squeezed them together over the key, hard. In my mystery stories, I had written about this method of obtaining keys hundreds of times. But I had never once done it myself, so I wanted to be sure I did it right.
Well, what's taking you so long?
I'll be right there. I pulled the two pieces of wax apart. The impression was clear and perfect. I opened the door with my own key and raced back down the stairs.
What took you so long?
I had trouble with the door. Oh, thank you, Mrs. Snyder. Well, I've got to run. I'm late as it is.
Well, when are you going to pay me that money that you owe me?
Later.
This is a very difficult thing you ask, Mr.
Smith.
Yes, of course, Mr. Smith. It is not only difficult, but it is against the law.
Well, that's all right. I'm a special investigator.
You have credentials, then?
No, not on me. You see, I'm not allowed to carry them because of the nature of this case.
Oh, I see. Well, allow me to introduce myself. I am the President of the United States.
Oh, well, now, look, are you going to do it or not? There are plenty of other locksmiths in this town.
I would not touch this key for less than $50.
What?
I'm sorry, Mr. Smith.
Well, look, here is my watch. It cost me $200 new. Now, will you take that instead?
It cost you maybe $35 new. But,
well, now, will you do it or not?
I see by the President's new watch that Congress is now in session.
It was 2 o'clock by the time I stood outside her door again. That gave me 4 hours before Steinmetz came home. I knocked. Mrs. Steinmetz, are you home? I stood listening for a long time before I slipped one of my newly made keys in the door. Hello, Mrs. Steinmetz. Are you home? There was no answer. So I stepped inside and closed the door after me. The apartment appeared the same as it had the day before. But somehow, it was emptier now. I crossed the worn, carpeted floor to the curtains covering the small kitchenette. Mrs. Steinmetz? I shoved the curtains aside. It was empty. struck by something that caught my eye on the round table in the center of the living room. It was just a picture. At first glance, it looked like a picture of two people standing together, but as I looked at it closer, I realized it wasn't of people at all, but a close-up of two animals or reptiles that only looked like people. They didn't have any hair or ears, and the surface of their skin was scaled like a snake's. I was about to search around for more pictures when I realized she was singing again. It was coming from the bedroom door. I ran across the room and I threw it open. The blinds were drawn in the hot, stuffy room, and in the darkness a single candle burned. As my eyes adjusted to its light, I could make out a sleek bronze casket sitting at the other side of the room. Now, in my career as a writer of mystery horror stories, I've killed off about 500 people and come across countless bodies, murdered in foul and devious ways, but never once have I been alone in a room with a closed casket or opened one by myself. It took a great deal of courage to force myself across the room, and even more to place my hands on the cool metal of the lid. And then with an effort, I raised it. It was empty. The candle light played on the quilted white satin lining of an empty coffin. Mrs. Steinmetz? I know you're in here, Mrs. Steinmetz, and I intend to find you. I started going through the boxes and trunks and junk piled in the bedroom. I knew she was in the apartment someplace. I could hear her voice. And dead or alive, I intended to find her. I went through the living room, the kitchen, overturning and pulling things apart. When I was about to give up, when I saw the closet door, I'd never noticed that before. I stumbled across the room to get to it, and I saw it open. She was beautiful. She was easily the most beautiful girl who had ever lived. She had long yellow hair that tumbled over her shoulders in a golden cascade. A small red mouth and clear blue eyes. And as I stood there staring at them, I realized they had that half-dead, half-live, never dead, never having lived look that I'd seen on the faces of effigies in a wax museum. Cautiously, I reached out and pulled my fingernails down her cheek.
What are you doing? Out! Out of my apartment! Out! I throw you out myself! Steinmetz! Out and stay out! You come back and I call the police!
He wasn't going to call the police. I was.
But, officer, I saw it. The body was right here in this closet.
Well, it isn't there now.
But I saw it with my own eyes.
Mr. Adams, we've searched this whole apartment and haven't found anything that even faintly resembles a body.
Well, how about the casket? He hasn't explained that yet.
Yeah. Mr. Steinmetz, how about that?
Officer, I am old man. My wife died 20 years ago. I think I died too soon. I buy coffin. I not die, but I still have coffin, so I keep it here. There's no crime against that, is there?
No, I guess there ain't.
But how about this man? He break into my house, tear up my goods.
He is lying. The man is a maniac. His wife died, and he preserved her in wax somehow. I tell you, I saw her with my own eyes.
All right, where's her body now?
Well, I don't know.
You can't support your charges without a corpus delicti.
Oh, officer, he's crazy as a loon. He causes nothing but trouble.
Now, wait. I dug my fingernail in the wax on her face. Some of it is still there, you see?
Green wax, Mr. Adams. Anybody could dig their fingernails in a green wax candle.
Well, it wasn't green before.
Oh, run him down to the station house.
No, wait. I want no trouble. Just he don't bother me no more. That's all I care. He leave me alone. Let him go.
Well, I can't very well hold him unless you're willing to press charges.
Please, let him go. Just he don't bother me no more.
All right. Come on, you. You can consider yourself a very lucky man to have.
The officer took me down to my room. And I had to promise I wouldn't bother the old man anymore. And then I had to listen to Mrs. Snyder complain about the rent. Well, after they were gone, I lay down on the bed and I tried to sleep. But I couldn't. I watched the day darken outside my window into dusk, and then night. And with the night, she started singing again. I pulled the pillow over my ears and I fought against it. I would have succeeded, too, if they hadn't started arguing. I'd never heard that before. In all the months I'd lived in the apartment house, I'd never heard the woman speak. I fought against it as long as I could. And then I crept out of my room and up the sides of the steps. And as I stood outside the door, I could distinctly hear two voices, a man's and a woman's.
All your fault.
No.
If you'd stayed in your place, this never would have happened.
You were the one who wanted him up here. I never wanted any part of it. Why don't you let me go?
Mary!
Please don't hit me.
Well, this was more than I could stand. I slipped the key out of my pocket and into the lock quietly.
I've done what you wanted. Why don't you let me go?
You'll never leave me.
I threw the door open and ran out of the room. What I saw made me so paralyzed with fear. And all I could do was stand there and scream.
I saw it. I tell you, I saw it. I tell you, I am innocent. Don't listen to him. He's a monster, a maniac, a lizard.
He's crazy.
I am not.
I tell you, I saw it with my own eyes. When I came into the room, there were two of them, monsters, lizards, whatever they are. And when they saw me, he changed himself into the form you now see. And she shrunk before my eyes into a little green snake that slithered under the couch.
He's crazy. I told you that before.
I saw it.
Get him out of here.
Look under the couch. There's a little green snake.
Take him to the hospital and the rest of you people clear out of here.
Why does the man persecute me?
He's lost his mind, Mr. Steinmetz.
I knew all along he was crazy. He never pays his rent.
I can promise you he won't bother you anymore, Mr. Steinmetz. We'll take him down and have him committed. If you like, you can come down tomorrow and sign a complaint.
No. Just so he don't bother me anymore.
Well, he won't bother you anymore. I can promise you that. Good night, Mr. Steinmetz.
Good night. Good night.
Are they all gone?
Yes, they're gone. You can come out now, dear.
It's too bad they unbalance so easily.
Yes, it is. It's because they only have the 5 senses to rely on. Keep changing the impressions their senses get and they go mad. It's not their fault. They're inferiorly made.
Can't we go home now? We found out what we came to find out.
Yes. I'm tired of this planet anyway.
Suspense. You have been listening to The Green Lorelei, written for Suspense by George Bamber. Tonight's story was Bob Reddick as Roger Adams. Also included in the cast were Elizabeth Lawrence, John Gibson, Bill Smith, Herb Duncan, Ellen McRae. Another tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
the CBS Radio Network.
The WRVO Playhouse for tonight presented The Green Lorelei with Robert Reddick, John Gibson, Ellen McRae, and Elizabeth Lawrence. November 6th, 1960 on CBS. We jump a night to November 20th, 1960 tomorrow night for Bill Adams, Robert Dryden, and Mandel Kramer in Suspense. A man living comfortably in the mountains with his wife and son receives a phone call one evening during a snowstorm from a few old friends. It's time to pay up. In the Night on Red Mountain on the WRVO Playhouse tomorrow night here on the WRVO stations. We hope you enjoyed our broadcast this evening. Stay tuned next for an encore of selected shorts and then the World Radio Network on NPR. For all of us with the Playhouse together and for all of us who have already supported the WRVO Playhouse, to all of you who will be calling with a pledge or sending a check, we thank you very much for listening and supporting the WRVO stations. Good night, everybody.
Your 24-hour source for NPR News, the WRVO stations, WRVD Syracuse, WRVJ Watertown, WRVN Utica, WSUC Cortland, and WRVO Oswego Syracuse.
We now join selected shorts already in progress.
Tell him to wait, she exclaimed. She was wearing a little rouge and perfume when 5 minutes later she deigned to pick up the phone.
Radio 59 WROW, first on the dial.
And now, another tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Are you a commuter? When you hurry onto that late train in the evening, how do you choose your seat? You try to get as far as possible from the big black cigar, or as near as possible to somebody reading your favorite periodical. Next time, look out. You may be sitting next to the man who murders people. Now, before tonight's story of suspense, let's listen to some words of wisdom from a good friend of yours and mine, the host of CBS Radio's daily House Party.
Hello, this is Art Linkletter with a few words about that crippling disease known as arthritis. What is arthritis? It's the most widespread chronic disease in the United States. Actually, more than 11 million people suffer with arthritis. Men, women, even children. 11 million. No wonder it's called our country's greatest crippler. What causes this cruel disease? Nobody knows. It's still a medical mystery. The Arthritis and Rheumatism Foundation is searching for the answers, and they need your help. Research is costly. So is treatment. This humane work can be carried out only with your support. So send a generous contribution today to your local chapter of the Arthritis and Rheumatism Foundation. Remember, it's care today and a cure tomorrow.
Train now leaving for East Bellwyn, Oakey, Newbury, Roseville, Milburn, all aboard?
Wait, please. Hold it, conductor.
You made it. Here, step up.
Oh, I thought I'd never...
Watch it, miss. Your bundles. Look at it.
Oh, my packages.
Stay right on there. I'll get them. Here's your hat box and newspaper. Well, no wonder you girls stumble wearing those spiked heels.
My purse. Where's my purse?
Right here. Don't worry.
Give it to me.
Hey, watch it. You'll dump the stuff again. Here now, 2 boxes. I guess that's everything.
So I didn't have enough to worry about. Everything has to go wrong at once.
Take it easy, miss. You caught the train. That's something.
Well, wish I didn't have to take it.
Well, too late now. Bert! Over!
I wish I didn't have to take it. Horrible.
What's the matter, miss?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize I was speaking out loud.
Something you're reading in that paper bother you?
Yes, it... Well, I wish I hadn't bought the paper.
Not by any chance the Roseville murders you're reading about?
Like, how did you know?
Everyone has those murders on his mind these days.
I guess I'm awfully cowardly about it.
Not at all. I know a lot of strong men who find themselves afraid of the dark since those bodies began to turn up around Roseville. It's not something to take lightly.
You don't sound very scared.
Me? No. As a matter of fact, I've always been rather interested in murder.
Interested?
Yes. Murderers are very clever people, you know. Geniuses, some of them. You can learn a lot studying these cases.
Learn? I wish someone would learn who the killer is. What's the matter with the police anyway? Why don't they catch him?
Why don't they? Because he's cleverer than they are, that's why.
But they
This man is the coolest, smartest killer that's ever been known in these parts, my girl. Here, let's look at what the paper says.
Oh, no, please. I can't bear to see that picture again. Poor man he murdered last week.
Now, I studied that picture for some time myself. Found it very interesting. You know, figuring out just what kind of a man he was, what kind of trick he might fall for, just how he'd react when he knew he was going to be murdered.
Oh, please don't.
Well, you're trembling. Well, I believe you're really frightened.
Don't you see? I live in Roseville.
Oh. Live in Roseville, huh?
How do you think it feels to get off at that lonely station at night? Not knowing in what shadow this creature may be standing watching me?
So you live in Roseville. Say, I'm not far from there myself. You ever pass Arthur Jenkins' antique shop on Bowley Road? That's my place.
I remember seeing it. My aunt's very interested in antiques.
You must bring her in sometime. I'll show her my personal collection.
That's very kind of you.
Glad to do it. Old weapons are my specialty. I got some pretty rare stuff. But, getting back to this murder business...
Oh, must we, Mr. Jenkins?
Tickets, have them ready, please.
Where did I put that darn thing?
Tickets, please.
Here you are, conductor.
Thank you. Everything okay now, miss?
Oh, yes, thanks. I was just awfully nervous about missing the train. My aunt worries so if I'm not on the early one.
I know how it is. Well, you'll get your supper hot tonight.
Here's my ticket.
Thank you. Tickets. Have your tickets ready.
Let's see now. Where were we? Oh, yes, the paper.
Oh.
Here now. First victim, 2 months ago. Young mechanic from the Parkway filling station. Found in the reservoir, stabbed in the heart. Apparently thrown out of a car. No clues whatever.
And he was such a nice young fellow. We often talked while he was servicing my car. Then when I saw this in the papers...
Second murder. Wealthy broker left New York on the 4:45 one evening and never arrived home.
And then, just like the poor mechanic.
Body turned up 3 days later at the foot of the Mill Road embankment. Again, a knife wound in the heart, but no knife, no weapon, no clue, just a body.
Well, that's the one that horrified me so. Suppose I should have a flat tire in my car tonight when I get to the station. I'd have to phone the garage and then sit and wait in the dark shed all alone.
I can see how you feel.
Or even if I tried to drive to the garage, I'd have to go slowly. And it's right through the woods and
the man who murders people jumps out of the woods in front of your car? Yes, definitely something to be nervous about.
I hate to leave the house to go to work in the morning. And poor Aunt Maud. She worries all day till I get home.
Doesn't a pretty girl like you have a boyfriend to look out for?
Well, I haven't been living in Roseville very long.
You know, I've been thinking. I get off the station after Roseville, but if you like, I could get out and see you to your car and then take the bus on up.
Oh, I couldn't let you do that.
It's not much out of my way at all. Matter of fact, I often drive down that way in the evenings. It's a beautiful drive. Up the Mill Road, past the reservoir. But well, you're looking at me so strangely. I think I will go with you and see you to your car.
No, I don't want you to.
Well, we can talk about it later. But get back to the murderer again. You know, I wouldn't mind being called crazy if I could baffle the police as cleverly as this fellow does.
Mr. Jenkins!
Last week now. That was the third case.
Will you stop?
What? What's the matter?
Stop talking about the Roseville murder.
No.
I don't want to hear anymore, I tell you. I don't want to talk about bodies being found and fiends with long knives hiding in the woods.
Come now. You mustn't let yourself get so excited. Now, this man who strikes so cruelly, don't you wonder what started him murdering? Do you suppose power was what he wanted? Power over...
Pardon me, may I sit down?
What?
Is this seat taken?
No, I turned it forward so I could put my bundles there, but I can move them.
Here, I'll just pile them on top of each other. There. Plenty of room.
Well, I think I'll go back and have a smoke.
Goodbye, Mr. Jenkins.
I'll talk to you again later.
In just a moment, we will return for the second act of Suspense.
Do you start out for a drive in a car with the fateful anxiety of a soldier going into battle? Cars have been created for our pleasure and convenience. However, carelessness has made them responsible for more human death than any planned carnage in the history of man. It's hard to know why people who have no desire to destroy themselves should be guilty of this kind of irresponsibility. Despite the many automatic features in today's automobiles, nothing has yet been invented to take the place of human intelligence in control. Whenever you take your car out, whether for an errand in the neighborhood or a long trip on the highway, remember, it takes only one split second of inattention on your part to make all the safety features of your car meaningless, to turn the whole comfortable, luxurious machine into a weapon as personally destructive as any H-bomb. Drive with constant caution, common sense, and courtesy. Keep your car from destroying you.
Miss, are you crying?
No, it's nothing.
Oh. Gosh, is there anything I can do? I mean, I'm sorry.
I'm the one who should apologize. It's silly of me, but I've been so nervous. And then that man...
That man? You mean that heavy-set guy who just left?
Yes, that's the one.
Well, has he been annoying you?
Oh, no. It's not that, really. It's just that... Well, I live in Roseville.
Oh. Oh, yeah.
I guess you've heard of the murders that have been going on in that area.
I'll say. Some guy's been knifing people at night and leaving the bodies around.
Yes. And the killer is still at large, and of course everyone in the neighborhood is terribly frightened.
Police can't seem to get any clue at all on the case.
No. And the papers are so full of it that it's hard to put the ghastly thing out of your mind.
What about this guy who was sitting here?
Well, that's what I'm getting at. I was terribly nervous to start with, and this man sat down beside me just as we were leaving New York, and first thing you know, he started to talk to me about those murders.
He's got a charming approach.
I didn't want to talk at all, especially about that, but he couldn't stay off the subject.
Sound?
And he kept saying what a genius the murderer is, and talking about the men that were killed, and how they felt when they knew they were going to be murdered.
Oh, now, please, don't cry again. What's the matter with that guy talking to a girl like that?
And then he said he'd get out at Roseville with me and take me to my car. And I was scared and didn't want him to, and he insisted.
Insisted, did he? Wait till that guy comes back. I'll tell him a thing or two. What are they out there?
What's going on here?
You, I'll tell you what's going on.
Now, please.
Look, you've annoyed this lady till she's almost hysterical, that's what.
Why, what are you talking about?
What do you think you are, forcing your conversation on a girl who's frightened and nervous and wants to be left alone?
Who says I forced myself on the girl? You must be crazy.
There's something wrong with one of us, but it's not me. Now get out of this car, do you hear me?
What do you mean ordering me around the train?
I mean business, brother.
Right, this is
and
outrageous.
the next time I see you hanging around this lady, I'll knock your block off. So get going before I really get mad.
I never heard of such a thing. The young hoodlum trying to tell a respectable man.
I don't think there'll be any more bother.
I was sure he was going to hit you.
Having a little trouble up here?
No, it's all right, conductor. Fellow was a bit annoying to the lady, but nothing serious. We straightened it out.
I don't know if it's the murders or what, but this Roseville run sure is hard on the nerves lately.
Guess all your passengers are a little jittery up here.
A guy annoys girl, lady smacks another lady's kid, man breaks a window because it won't open.
Well, that's that.
All quiet?
Uh-huh. Gosh, I'm sorry to let you in for that scene, but I thought it was best to show him I meant business.
I guess you're right. But, I'm glad it's over. What a train ride.
All included on your commutation. No extra charge for the fireworks.
I'm just exhausted. You'd think I've been doing the work.
Well, you've been under a strain. How about sitting back and relaxing? Let me fix that back for you.
Oh, thank you.
There now. Just take it easy from here in. It's pretty nerve-wracking for you.
I don't know what I would have done if you hadn't come along, Mr.
Mackenzie. Bill Mackenzie.
Mr. Mackenzie.
You know, I believe I've seen you on this train before.
Well, I'm certainly glad you saw me this time.
I'm glad, too. For more than one reason.
Well, now that it's over, I guess I was a bit silly about the whole thing. That man didn't really have such a bad face at all.
He's no monster, just tactless, that's all.
That's right. But me with my frayed nerves waving in the breeze, I suspect a rabbit of being the Roseville murderer if I met one on the Mill Road in the dark.
It's true the guy's probably harmless, but there's no reason why I should go on annoying you, even unintentionally.
Well, I do thank you for stopping in. By the way, my name is Kay Murray, Mr. Mackenzie. I live just outside of Roseville, the other side of the reservoir.
Glad to know you, Miss Murray. I live in Newbury myself, but look, if you're still frightened,
thank you. But I don't feel a bit frightened now. My car is quite near the tracks, and it's only a 10-minute drive home.
Sure, you'll be all right. Because I could see you home, and then I could grab a bus back to Newbury if you'd like me to.
Oh, it won't be necessary, really, Mr. Mackenzie.
Call me Bill, won't you? Since we're kind of neighbors, we ought to get better acquainted.
All right. Bill?
Kay.
Yes?
I told you I've seen you on the train before.
Yes?
Well, to tell the truth, I've noticed you particularly.
That's flattering.
And since luck has brought me your acquaintance, may I take the advantage of it and suggest I'd like to see you again sometime?
Well,
How about dinner or a show some night? Or whatever you'd like to do.
I'd like to, but...
Well, it's kind of sudden, Kay, but please say yes.
Well, you might come up to the house some evening and meet my aunt.
You mean when I have a stamp of approval, we can go on from there?
That's about it.
It suits me fine. Let's see, this is Wednesday. How about tomorrow night?
Afraid I can't make it tomorrow.
Oh, Friday, then.
Friday will be all right. About 8 o'clock.
Nobody.
I've got to get off here. Now, are you sure you don't want me to ride up with you?
Oh, no, thanks, Bill. I'm not scared anymore.
How about your address, Kay?
Oh, I'm on Ferncliff Road, number 42. It's a big white house just off the Mill Road.
I'll find it all right. See you Friday, Kay.
Bye.
In a moment, we will return for the third act of Suspense.
Hi, maybe you'll recall this tuneful reminder of times past. This is Dennis James with something else worth remembering. It's this. You're so right to stay regular with Kellogg's All-Bran. See, it's the normal, natural way to youthful regularity. The whole brand content of Kellogg's All-Bran supplies your system with all the bulk-forming food that you need every day. There's only one All-Bran. It's Kellogg's All-Bran. So relieve irregularity from lack of bulk, as millions do, with a bowl full of Kellogg's All-Bran each morning. ALL-BRAN. It's Kellogg's All-Bran.
Oh, darn these doors. They never do open.
Here, miss, let me do it.
Oh, scared me, conductor. Yes, will you please? I have so much to carry.
So just let me get in there.
Oh, look out, my bundle! Oh, for heaven's sake.
Oh, say, I'm sorry. That was clumsy of me. Here, let me pick them up again. Huh?
Oh, dear. Oh, look out. Don't step on that bag.
I got them rolling all over. Here, wait till I catch that hat box. Here's the two packages, hat box and pocketbook, and your newspaper.
Thank you, conductor. Here, I'm through with the paper. I'll let you enjoy the Roseville murders.
Oh, thanks, Smith. Wait a minute. There you are. You got everything?
Yes, thank you. May I sit down?
Why, certainly. What? Why, what do you want?
I want to apologize to you, Mr. Jenkins. I've been feeling dreadful about that young man being so hasty with you.
Young Sir Galahad, huh? If I annoy you, why don't you keep away from me?
That's just it. You don't annoy me.
Well, if I don't, you certainly let
Honestly, Mr. Jenkins, it's hard to explain just how it happened, but, well, I was so tired and nervous and all, and the young man got the impression that you'd been upsetting me.
A bit impetuous of him, wasn't it?
I guess it was. Actually, I know you didn't mean to upset me, and I was terribly embarrassed when he spoke to you that way.
Well, pretty embarrassing all around, I'd say.
Well, I didn't know what to do. He meant well, you see, and it all happened so fast. Anyway, I thought I'd walk back and find you to tell you how sorry I am over the whole mix-up.
Well, I don't know. I'm not accustomed to being taken for a masher.
But you weren't at all. I wouldn't have been speaking to you in the first place if you hadn't looked like a respectable person.
Well, I certainly wasn't being treated like
and
one.
I would have enjoyed talking if I hadn't been so unstrung. But you know what nerves can do to a person.
Well, I knew you were jumpy about something the first time I looked at you.
My name is Kay Murray, Mr. Jenkins. Can't we shake hands and no hard feelings?
Well, all right, young lady. I guess it was all just a misunderstanding.
I didn't intend to be rude, and, well, it's nice of you to understand.
Roseville!
Say, here's your station now.
Yes, you were right on time. Oh, let's see. Have I got everything?
You have quite an armful. You know, Miss Murray, I'll repeat that offer I made before, if you like. I mean about seeing you to your car, if you want me to.
Oh, no, it really isn't necessary.
Pretty dark night, young lady.
Well, gee, I don't know. Now that it comes right down to it, I guess I would feel better if you'd walk over with me. Then I can drop you off at the bus station. If you're sure it won't make you too late.
No, I never run on a schedule. I'm often busy half the night.
Well, we'd better hurry.
Is the car far?
No, just the other side of the grove.
Watch your step.
Okay. Jump. Which way?
Oh, right over here. There's a path.
All right. See that you don't stumble. You certainly don't waste much electricity in these stations.
Now, this is the bad part. In through the trees here. Well, I'm glad you came.
It's dark, all right. And quiet with the train on. Say, did you hear something?
What do you mean?
There it is again. Let's stop a minute. Hear it? There's someone following us.
I don't hear a thing. It must have been the trees.
What? I could have sworn. Well, maybe not. Let's go.
Oh, gee. You really had me worried for a moment. Strange what tricks mental suggestion can play.
Very strange.
Why, there probably isn't a living soul within half a mile of here.
Not at this time of night.
Now, if I'd been alone and thought I'd...
There he is! Look, between the trees!
Oh!
Stand still, both of you. He's got a gun case. Stand still.
No! No, it can't be!
Not a move, you hear? It's not too dark for me to shoot straight.
You!
Who is it?
It's the conductor on the Roseville train case.
Oh!
If you'll just step back on the path and put your hands over your head.
No! No, you...
Don't run, Kay. He'll shoot.
You'll never get...
You've killed her.
I doubt it. I aimed too low. Here, let's see. That's what I thought. Bullet didn't even touch her. It's those heels she tripped and hit her head.
She almost got away from you. Well, what are you waiting for? Where's the knife?
You'll see it soon enough. First, come over and give me a hand with this girl.
I won't help you. I won't move.
Say, do I have to get disagreeable?
Why don't you kill me and get it over with?
Just a minute. Who do you think I am?
I know who you are. And one day everyone will know. Do you hear? You can't get away with it.
Hold it, mister. I happen to be riding that train as special investigator.
What?
This gal dropped her purse boarding in Grand Central and was so edgy about it, I began to wonder what was inside. I managed to spill her bundles later and get a quick look in the purse while retrieving them. Then I remembered the madman's third victim was last seen walking with a pretty girl. Well, why do you think I followed the two of you?
I don't know. What was in the purse?
You ever see one of these?
A pruning knife.
You never know what's turned a normal mind into a crazy whirlpool of hate.
Me? I would have been the fourth victim.
My purse. Where is it?
You're trading it for a pair of bracelets, sister. I never thought the man I was after would be wearing spike heels.
Suspense.
You've been listening to The Man Who Murders People. Written for Suspense by Mariana Norris. In a moment, the names of our players and a word about next week's story of Suspense. Ever stop to think about this? Radio is the swiftest, most flexible news medium. In addition, as veteran CBS newsman Lowell Thomas observes,
I wonder if you are taking full advantage of something that radio can do best of all. That is, keep you informed on national and world events. The Daily Human Show. That's what I'm here for. And I hope that you will join me each evening for a fast swing around the world.
Lowell Thomas, each Monday through Friday night at this radio address. Now, here's news about CBS News. Soon, broadcasting's foremost news service brings you twice the coverage, double the detail, double the depth. Starting Monday, November 28th, each weekday, CBS News goes double for you for a full 10 minutes every hour on the hour. The first word in speed, the last word in accuracy. CBS News goes double for you soon on CBS Radio. Heard in tonight's story were Vivian Smolin as Kay, George Petrie as Jenkins, Alan Manson as Bill, and Maurice Tarplin as the conductor. Listen again next week when we return with Night on Red Mountain by William N. Robeson. Another tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
WROW, Albany, New York.
Another tale well calculated to keep you in suspense. How often have you felt that you'd like to get away from it all? Just drop everything, move far away, start a new life, maybe even with a new identity. Well, it isn't as easy as it sounds, as the story you're about to hear demonstrates. So before you buy a one-way ticket to elsewhere, listen to Night on Red Mountain, which begins in just a moment.
I didn't hear you drive in. I can't hear much of anything when the wind starts blowing.
Door up.
Yes.
Let's check the oil and water, too. Any hot coffee inside?
Yeah, hot and black.
That's for me. Must be close to zero.
Oh, not that bad. Down around 20. It'll drop tonight, though. Radio says we might get a blizzard.
And they call this sunny California.
Well, we're more than 5,000 feet here. 6,500 at the top of the pass up the road a piece.
Yeah, I know. I just come off it.
We're heading north?
Yeah, Vegas. How far is it from here?
Oh, about 260 from Victorville, and Victorville's 32 from here. What's the matter? You lost?
What makes you think so?
Well, US 66 is a direct route. Not many cars come across Red Mountain in the winter.
Hey,
Yeah?
ain't I seen you someplace before?
Well, not unless you've been through here before.
I ain't never. Not back east someplace? Do you come from back east?
No, I've never been. I come from up north. Eureka.
Funny, take that mustache off. You'd be a ringer for a kid I used to know once back in Jersey City. Joey Perino. Funny.
Yeah. Look alike. You run into him sometime.
Sure you was never back east?
Sure.
Funny, without that mustache, I'd swear.
You'd be mistaken.
Yeah? Well, where'd I find the coffee?
Oh, right inside. Sally will take care of you.
Yeah. You better check the battery and the tires, too.
Yeah, sure thing.
Good evening.
Give me a cup of black coffee.
Yes, sir.
The State Highway Patrol has asked us to make this announcement. Chains will be required on all cars in the mountain region. Tonight's storm is expected to bring at least 6 inches of snow down to the 3,000-foot level.
Sounds like you might be snowed in.
Oh, won't be the first time.
It might be dangerous, considering your condition.
Oh, no. I'm not expecting until April. We never get any snow that late.
Not even when the weather's unusual, like they say out here.
Well, it's never that unusual. You better get Walt to put on your chains.
Ain't got any.
Oh? Well, then watch your step going down that hill. Particularly mule shoe curve. It's bad in snow like this.
I'll remember that. Is he your husband?
Who?
Fella gassing me up to this Walt.
Oh, yeah.
You two all alone up here?
No, there's my dad. And he'd better get a move on or he won't get back up that mountain tonight.
Where is he?
Oh, he went down to Victorville this afternoon for supplies.
Oh? You born around here?
No, up north.
Eureka?
Yeah, how'd you guess?
Your husband said that's where he come from.
He did?
Yeah. Doesn't he?
Oh, said he did, didn't he?
Yeah. Yeah. Did you ever hear of a guy named Joey Perino?
No. Why, should I?
Your husband looks like him.
Well, what if he does?
Oh, nothing. You ever been back east?
Never been outside the state. Gee, you ask more questions than a cop.
Oh, don't worry. I ain't no cop.
All right, she's all set to roll.
How much I owe you?
12 gallons, that'll be $3.95.
Plus the coffee.
Compliments of the management.
Huh?
It's a policy of the establishment. Free coffee during blizzards. Isn't it, Sally?
Yeah, sure.
Hey, $4.
Get your change.
Don't bother. $3.95 for the gas, 5 cents for the coffee. I got a policy, too. I don't take handouts.
Oh, look now. What
I don't want to be
was
owing
that?
anybody anything, sister. Particularly rats. You seeing you, Joey?
Joey? What do you mean, Walt? Calling you Joey?
In just a moment, we will return for the second act of Suspense.
Walt, will you tell me what he meant calling you Joey?
Oh, the guy's nuts.
He asked an awful lot of questions.
What kind of question?
About me, about you. He said you told him you come from Eureka. Why did you tell him that, Walt?
Oh, look, honey, the guy's nuts. I never told him I came from Eureka.
You never told me where you came from either, Walt. You just said you came from back east.
Well, what difference does it make?
It didn't then when we first met. Well, it doesn't now if you tell me it doesn't.
I tell you, it doesn't, honey.
Okay, Walt. I'm sorry.
You better get to bed, honey. It's going to be a long, cold night, huh?
All right. You coming?
A little while. Won't be much more business in this storm.
You know something?
What?
I love you. I love you very much.
Is that a fact?
Yeah.
Mr. Pirelli?
Yeah?
I have a long-distance call for you from Victorville, California.
Who's calling?
Mr. Bequelia.
All right, operator, put him on.
Go ahead, sir.
Hello, Big Pete?
Yeah, Bat, what are you doing down in Victorville? You were supposed to be here in Vegas by dinner time.
Yeah, I know, but sort of got lost in the mountains.
Now, that figures. I know you'd get lost in Jersey City.
Yeah, but wait till you hear what I found.
Gold mine, I suppose, huh?
No. Joey Perino.
You're kidding. Where?
The gas station back in the hills.
You sure it's Joey?
Positive. He's got a mustache, he's got a wife, and he calls himself Walt something or other. But it's Joey, all right.
You recognize you?
Sure he did, but he didn't let on. Thought I'd better tell you.
Now, wait a minute. If you recognize you, he'll take it on a lamb.
Not a chance. He's up here all alone with his wife. She's in a family way, and it's blowing up a blizzard. He wouldn't risk getting her out in this kind of weather.
Where are you?
The joint's called a White Spot.
All right, sit tight. I'll be there in a couple of hours.
Well, how you going to do that?
Charter a plane?
For boss. I'll be glad to handle him for you.
I'm sure you would, Bat, but this one I want to take care of myself in my own way. If you get what I mean.
Oh, yeah, I get what you mean. I'll wait for you here.
What's the name of this place he's at?
Walt Summit Service. Why?
Thought I might give him a ring before I leave.
Tip him off?
No. Offer him another chance.
You kidding?
What do you think?
Walt Summit Service, good evening.
Hello, Joey.
You must have the wrong number. This is Walt Summit Service.
Ah, Joey, I got the right number. This is Big Pete. Remember me?
There's some mistake.
There's no mistake, Joey. Matt just told me he was by your joint a little while ago.
Look, I don't know what you're talking about. This is Walt Summit Service.
All right, Joey, if you want it that way, it's Walt Summit Service and you're Walt. But back in Jersey City, you're still Joe Perini to the boys. And Joey, the boys miss you. All of them. Me in particular. I miss you so much, Joey, I feel I just got to talk to you.
I'm sorry. You have the wrong number.
Walt?
Yeah, honey.
Who's that?
Hey, look, you're supposed to be asleep.
I was just dozing off and the phone woke me. Who was it, Walt?
Oh, somebody got the wrong number.
Well, it took you long enough to tell him.
Guy was drunk or something.
Oh.
Go to sleep, honey.
All right, you coming?
I don't feel very sleepy. I sit up a while. Wait for your dad.
Well, all right, but don't make it too late. You know, I get lonely in here without you.
I know, darling. Go to sleep now.
Small craft warnings are flying from Point Concepcion to Point Dumas. All planes are grounded at Los Angeles International Airport. The Weather Bureau predicts that close upon the heels of the present storm is another developing off the coast of northern California. This is an undisguised blessing for the farmer in the San Joaquin Valley and the growers in Orange County.
Walt Summit Service.
Hello, Joey.
Wrong number.
You shouldn't hang up on Big Pete, Joey.
Wrong number.
Now listen to me, Joey, and listen good. I want to talk to you.
You got the wrong number.
Okay, Joey. Now you just listen to me, boy. You know a joint in Victorville called the White Spot?
Yeah, I know it.
Good. I'm at the airport in Vegas. I'm taking off from here in 5 minutes. You take off in 5 minutes, too, Joey.
Now, look here.
Don't hang up on me, Joey. Just listen. It'll take you about the same time to get down off that mountain as it'll take me to fly to Victorville. Meet me in the White Spot. That's an order.
I don't take orders from you anymore.
You'll take this one.
Wheeler Pete?
Ain't you?
No, I'm telling you.
How come you took a partner on me 2 years ago, huh? How come you just blew?
I want it out. Hey, Walt, are you in there? Yeah, I'll be right there.
Who are you talking to?
Highway Patrol. I told you.
You gonna tell him why you walked out on old Pete?
Now, look, I don't tell nothing to nobody. I just want to be left alone. I want it out. I got it out.
You ain't out yet, kid. Nobody ever quits on me.
Hey, look. Leave me alone, will you, Pete? Sure, so I work for you. I drove for you. I don't know nothing. I ain't talking. I gotta go now. Just let me alone, Pete. For the love of heaven, let me alone.
Walt, there's someone at the door.
I know it.
Who are you talking to now?
My wife.
Look, get rid of the cops, Joey. Tell your wife to go to bed.
You got the wrong number.
Meet me in 2 hours at the White Spot in Victorville. You got it?
Yeah, I got the number you're calling, but this
now,
isn't
you better
it.
be there, Joey. Or I'm coming up the hill for you.
In a moment, we will return for the third act of Suspense.
Good evening, Miss Parsons. I'm sorry I disturbed you, ma'am.
Oh, that's all right, Sergeant Cruz. Come in, come on.
Thank you.
Walt was on the phone.
Yeah, Sergeant, some crackpot got a wrong number and can't get it out of his drunken head, you know.
Well, I just stopped by to see if you folks are all right.
Oh, yeah, sure. snug as a bug in a rug.
Say, would you have a cup of coffee?
Why, yes, thanks, Mrs. Parsons. Guess maybe I'd drop by for that, too.
Well, there's always some on the stove.
Well, how's the weather outside, huh? It ain't a fit night for man or motor car. Pass is closed, and we won't be able to get plows through from the other side of the mountain until, tomorrow forenoon. Well, that's what you can expect in February.
Oh, there you are, Sergeant. Sugar, cream, and hot, I hope.
Well, that's wonderful, Mrs. Parsons. Thank you. Say, Sally,
Yes, darling.
like the sergeant says, it ain't a fit night out for a man or motor car.
Yeah?
Well, I thought we might put him up for the night. Huh?
Why, of course.
Oh, no. I wouldn't want to inconvenience you.
Oh, but it wouldn't be any
No, not at all. No inconvenience at all. We'd sure like to have you stay. That's right nice of you, believe me, but I've got to get on down the road. Oh, but it's after 10 now, and you're off duty. No. In a storm like this, nobody's off duty. Now, thanks for the coffee, Mrs. Parsons.
You're welcome.
Say, I got something to thank you for, Walt. What's that? The only laugh I had this evening. I'd like to hear it. What's the laugh, Ike? That car out front. Huh? What car? A couple of hours ago, when I was going up to the pass, that two-tone job, standing out front with a big tail fin. What about it? Gold and white, covered with mud and the snow piling up on it. It sort of reminded me like a bathing beauty on a ski slope. Cars like that weren't designed for this kind of country. No. All right. Guess they weren't. Well, good night, folks. And thanks again for the coffee. Oh, you're welcome.
Good night, Sergeant. Oh, I'll get it to you.
No, I will. Walt, come at service.
You ain't left yet, Joey? Get going.
You got the wrong number.
Again?
Yeah, again.
Darling, what is it?
Screwball.
Well, what's he want?
Oh, who knows? He's drunk. Let's go to bed, huh?
Oh, I'm not very sleepy. I know what. Let's sit up and wait for Dad.
Oh, he won't make it now.
Well, he might.
Oh, let's go to bed, I said.
All right, honey. Well, go to bed.
Well, so then, I gotta lock up, huh?
All right. Walt.
What?
What's the matter?
Hey, nothing's the matter. Just gotta look up, that's all. Get to bed. Stop asking a lot of stupid questions, will you?
That will be 20 cents for 3 minutes.
All right, here you are, sister.
Go ahead, sir.
Yes, please.
Well, how'd you guess it'd be me, Joey?
Now, look. Let's cut the kid.
I ain't kidding, Joey. I'm disappointed. Real disappointed. I fly all the way down here to Victorville just to talk to you, and what happens? You ain't got the courtesy to come down the hill to see an old pal. How come you ain't here, Joey?
I'm not coming, Pete.
You ain't, huh?
No.
Well, then I guess I have to come up there.
Nobody's asking you.
Now, Joey, that ain't no way to talk.
Oh, lay off, will you, Pete? I done nothing to you.
You walked out on me, Joey. Nobody walks out on Big Pete. I'll see you in an hour. And, Joey...
Yeah?
Don't try taking no powder. Fellow at the bar just told me that the pass is closed. The only way out's down the hill.
I know it.
You want to change your mind and come on down, Joey? Joey? Joey?
Were you flashing, sir?
Yeah, I was cut off.
Well, just a moment. I'll try to connect you. I'm sorry, sir. There seems to be trouble on that line. Probably the storm.
Okay, sister, thanks.
Is he coming?
No. But it couldn't be better. The line just went out in the storm.
And the pass is blocked. It's a sweet setup.
Ain't it? Let's go.
Pleasure.
In a moment, we'll return for the concluding act of Suspense.
isn't it there, darling?
I can't.
Where are you going? What are you putting on your coat for?
I gotta go down the hill.
Oh, Walt, what's the matter?
I'm worried. About your dad. I'm gonna look for him.
Now, you know he's probably staying in town at the Fancy. If you're worried, telephone them.
I tried. The line's out. I gotta go down the hill.
But what? You can't leave me here alone.
I got it, honey. I got it.
But I'm afraid.
Look, there's nothing to be scared of. You'll be safe here.
Your gun. Why are you taking your gun?
Feel better with a gun.
What? You're keeping something from me. You gotta tell me.
There's nothing to tell, honey. Get back in bed, please.
If you promise not to go out.
I can't. I gotta go, and I gotta go alone.
But then it isn't that. It's something else.
Now, look, honey, don't make me...
Hey! How come the place all lit up like Christmas trees? Can't be that much business tonight.
Oh, Dad, thank goodness you're here. This silly husband of mine was just going out to look for you. He was afraid you spit into the canyon or something.
Oh, an old mountain man like me? Oh, fiddlesticks. I'm glad you're dressed so, Walt. I promised Sergeant Toohey I'd send you down the road with the tow truck and give him a hand.
Accident?
Yeah. Some darn fool was driving without chains. Went through the guardrail on mule shoe curves. Yeah, one of these fancy new two-tone jobs with airplane fins.
Gold and white? Hardtop convertible?
Toohey didn't specify, but he recognized the driver. Big shot gangster from back east, he said. Name of Big Pete Pirelli. Yeah, that was it. They didn't know the other fella.
Were they, hurt?
Hurt? They're both as dead as last week's hamburgers.
Okay, I'll get going. I guess I won't need this gun after all. I'll be back in a little while, Sam.
All right, honey.
See if she gets to bed, will you, Dan?
Sure, son.
She hasn't had much sleep tonight.
Don't worry, darling. I'll sleep now.
Good. You know something?
What?
I love you very much.
Suspense. You've been listening to Night on Red Mountain, written for Suspense by William N. Robeson. In a moment, the names of our players and a word about next week's story of Suspense. Heard in tonight's story were Lawson Zerby as Walt, Jim Bowles as Bat, Mandel Kramer as Pete, Ellen McCrae as Sally, Bob Dryden as Sarge, Ruth Tobin as the operator, and Bill Adams as Dad. Listen again next week when we return with Home is Where You Find It, written for Suspense by Edna Ray. Another tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Now, another tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Pardon me, fella. You mind if I sit down alongside of you?
No. Not at all. Go ahead.
In the smoking car back there. Don't need a cigarette of your own. Just have to breathe deep, that's all. Guess you're headed to New York, aren't you?
Yeah. That's right. New York.
Your hometown, is it?
Oh, no. No, it isn't. Not yet. I come from a little town about 2,000 miles west of here. But maybe someday it'll be my home.
Why, sure, man. Why not? After all, home's where you find it.
And now, Home is Where You Find It, written for Suspense by Edna Ray.
Well, son, we're almost there.
Yep. Yeah. I guess we are.
Sure we are. Just look out that window there. See that? See that straight ahead? Look at that, son. That's the skyline, boy. Only about 10 miles away.
10 miles away.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can't even see my town when you're standing right in it. That high building there, that's the Empire State, isn't it?
That's right. It sure is. The Empire State Building.
Wow.
Looks red on top now from the sun going down, but it's silver when you're close up to it. The Empire State, son. New York.
You come from New York?
Well, I'm originally from Texas. That's where I used to hang out. But right now it's New York. And lately, a couple of hours ago, I've been to Poughkeepsie. By the way, a little town of yours.
Me? Oh, Little Rock. I'm from Little Rock, Arkansas.
Oh, sure. Little Rock, nice town. Nice town.
Oh, you been there?
No, I haven't, but I've heard about it. I heard it was a very nice town. Don't believe I caught your name.
Oh, I'm sorry. My name is John. John Adams.
Glad to meet you, John.
Oh, well, thank you.
My name's Tex. Just call me Tex. Everybody does.
Oh, I see. Well, glad to meet you, Tex.
Oh, don't think about that. Suppose you have friends waiting for you at the station?
Oh, no. No, I guess not. I don't know anybody in New York.
Well, what do you know? You know, I came into town the very same way. Didn't know a soul. But now I just bet you there are a couple of people waiting. Probably just tearing their hair out, wondering where is the little boy Tex.
Hello?
Hello, Joe.
Yeah, this is Joe. Who's this?
This is Oscar. Where's Tex?
Oh, I expect him, Oscar. I don't know where he is.
Well, call me when he comes in.
Yeah, okay, Oscar.
Joe, stop walking up and down like that. It makes me nervous.
But where is Tex? Where is he, Marge? He said he'd be here about 3. It's almost 4.
Stop worrying,
Well,
Joe.
I do worry. That was Oscar on the house phone again. He wants to know where Tex is, too. He wants to know where the money is I owe.
You have been late on the rent before. And anyway, now we've got the money. Pay him what you owe, and then we can leave.
No, that's just it. Tex promised me the money, but we haven't got it. Not yet.
But you said that...
I know what I said. I keep thinking about what I said, but I haven't got it. I said I had the money so that you would quit your job at the movie house the same time I did. We could leave Sunday night. But I haven't got it.
But today is Saturday, Joe. Tomorrow is Sunday.
Tex promised it when he got back. But if he doesn't come... Now, look, I got to get out of here even without the money. I owe too much. I owe Oscar for the rent. I owe him personally, too, because he helped me out. That's the way he is. He keeps doing you favors. Then one day he says, you owe me a little something. I got a way maybe you can pay back.
And what is the way?
Making book for him. Taking bets. A runner for bets on horses, games, politics, anything.
Huh?
And no. Tex says he got me into this and he will get me out. I met him on the train when I first came to New York. He got me a job at the movie house. He introduced me to Oscar. Oscar staked me. Tex got me the job so I could pay him back. But I never could, not with what I make.
Well, Tex must have known that.
Well, of course he knew. Tex and Oscar are in this together. Being an assistant manager at the movie house is a sideline for Tex and a place to operate from. He hires the ushers, then he and Oscar box them in until they do anything they say. Steal if necessary. Kill if they have to.
And what are you doing for Tex? You say he's giving you money now.
Nothing. Just getting out of town. He says he'll give me enough to pay Oscar and get out of town. But he doesn't want me to tell Oscar where I got the money. He just wants me to get.
Then he's kicking you out.
Yes, he's kicking me out.
Why?
I don't know and I don't care. All I have to do, he says, is to wait for my replacement. Then we can go. He said by Sunday.
Tomorrow is Sunday.
I know, but what if Tex hasn't found the boy? What if he hasn't found him? And why isn't he here?
Yeah, Johnny boy, like I say, it's a big town. There's a lot of angles. You have to know your way around. You have to be smart, Johnny boy.
Smart?
Mm-hmm. You want to get ahead, don't you?
Well, yeah. Yeah, I guess I do.
Well, sure you do. That's what people come to this town for. But you can't do it alone, boy. You can't do it alone.
Well, I didn't think of it that way.
Now, for instance, you got yourself a place to stay?
Well, no, I thought I'd just look around.
Look around? Well, you'll end up in the park, man.
Oh, well,
And a job. Now, how about a job?
Well, no, I thought
You're just thinking too much, son.
Well,
now, just stop interrupting, man. We'll be there in a minute. Money, I suppose you have money.
Well, for a while.
For a while? Didn't you ever hear about time? Time is what you'll hear about in New York, son. There ain't none. There is no time to waste. You got to protect yourself. You got nothing to protect yourself with. And the least of what you ain't got is time. You understand me, Johnny boy?
I think I'm getting homesick.
Oh, now, there's no call for that. There's no reason for being homesick, son. Not when you got me.
Grand Central sleeping.
Now, come on now, Johnny. Get your stuff together.
Oh, okay, Tex.
Now, the first thing you're going to need is a room and then a job. I got some connections, and I'm going to make a call when we get off. I want you to meet two friends of mine, and you're going to like them, pal. Come on, kid. Follow me.
Yeah, Tex, but well, who are your friends?
Just a couple of boys, Johnny. Oscar and Joe.
Yeah, who is it?
Oscar, I want to come in.
Yeah, sure, Oscar. Hello, Oscar. I thought maybe it was Tex.
He'll be here in a few minutes. I got a call.
Well, then what do you want? I haven't got it.
You'll have to get some money, Joe. We need it.
Well, how come the we?
Because we're in business together. That's how come the we.
Well, I'm not in business, not with you or anybody else.
You know, you're hysterical, Joe. Sometimes a man sounds tough when he's that way.
Well, then lay off of me. You and Tex leave me alone.
All right, can that stuff, Joe. You've been a bookmaker for 6 months, a bookie. You've taken bets on every track in the country. You're a big boy now.
Well, I didn't know it. I didn't know what was in them.
Well, you know it now, and every gambler in town, big and little, knows you work for me.
But no more. No more. I'm getting out.
How? Huh? How? We got hit bad the other day, and we ain't got enough cash on hand to pay off. We got to get it. We're in business, Joe, and we're staying in business.
But what can I do? What can I do about it?
Just get up what you owe me. I don't care how, and for the rest, you do what Tex says. I don't know what he's got in mind, but you just do what he says. He's on his way up with a boy, another kid like you.
Oh, Oscar, no.
Just do like he says.
Come in.
Hi, boys. I want you to meet a friend.
We've been waiting for you, Tex.
Well, I took me a little train ride. Johnny boy, these are the friends I've been telling you about. Oscar and Joe.
Glad to meet you, Johnny.
Well, thank you.
Now, Joe is the shy type, boys. Say hello to the boy, Joe.
Oh, I'm sorry. How are you?
How do you do?
That's stick it. Now, Oscar, you got a room for the boy?
Well, it just so happened.
That's the spirit. Now, you see, you met yourself some friends, Johnny boy.
Well, now, I mean, wait a minute. I appreciate the favor, but how much...
Well, it's only $60 a month.
Oh, well, look.
I want you to do the boy a favor, Oscar.
Yeah, what kind of favor, Tex?
This boy ain't got any ready cash, at least not enough. Give him an IOU on the first month, and he'll pay you back out of his salary.
Oh, what salary?
The boy anticipates my question, Tex.
Well, my assistant, Joe, here is getting Johnny a job at the movie house.
Tex, you can't do this.
He's a fine boy.
Oh, now,
well,
look.
if Johnny has a job, it's okay with me.
Oh, now, fellas, you see, I don't want to be obligated. I'll just get a cheaper place, and about the job,
Now, there's no obligation among friends. Right, Oscar? Joe?
Right. Johnny boy, you're among friends. You want us to force a favor down your throat? Is that what you want? You need a little cash reserve to get started in this town. It ain't easy to find a place and a job. If you walk out of here, you're walking out on your friends. You'll walk right out into no place, and you'll have to hitchhike all the way home.
Well, now that you put it that way, well, okay, I accept the favor, and maybe someday I can pay you back.
Just a minute. There. Hello, John. How was the first day?
Oh, confusing. It's kind of small in here, isn't it?
Just enough for the tickets and the money.
And you.
Almost.
I'm supposed to pick up the money.
Yes, I know. These 2 bags.
You know, I don't understand. I wouldn't trust myself with these.
Well, obviously they do. Here.
It's kind of heavy, huh? I'd say about 5 pounds.
How do you know?
Well, I used to guess weights at the county fair. I was good, too.
That's cute. You know where to take it?
The manager's office, right?
Right. Joe's in there waiting to count up. I'll show you.
Counting the receipts, that's Tex's job, isn't it?
Well, on weekends, Tex is the manager. Joe's the assistant, so Joe counts up.
Oh, so what do I become on weekends?
You become Joe and take the money to the night deposit after Joe counts up.
Mm-hmm. There's pretty fast promotions around here.
Well, they must like you.
Oh, gosh, I don't know. Favors all the time. Tex has been doing a lot of favors for one day. What I want to know is, what am I supposed to do for him?
I don't know. Oh, here we are.
Well, okay, Marge. See you tomorrow. Yeah, I'd say about 5 pounds.
Hello? Tex, Joe boy, let me in.
Hello, Tex. What are you doing here?
Just a look, see?
Oh?
Just want to let you know I got you the tickets on the plane, son, right here in my hand. Finish counting up?
Yeah, it's in the safe. When do I get the money?
Well, that'll be Sunday, tomorrow. After you finish counting tomorrow night, you'll have the tickets and the money. Where's Johnny?
Well, he went to change.
Oh, he's coming back.
Yeah, he's coming back. He's taking the money to the night deposit with Officer O'Connor, just like you said.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is just like you said. Tex, what is going on?
Well, I'm going to like seeing you on a vacation, Joe, because you're a little skittery.
Oh, forget it.
When are you going to lock up?
Johnny's got to get the money.
You give him a combination to the safe, didn't you?
Yeah, that's right. Another thing you told me to do. Tex, listen,
All right, you can go now. I'll wait and see him myself, and the cop ought to be here by the time he gets back.
Okay, Tex, but I expect my tickets and the money tomorrow, or there'll be trouble.
There won't be any trouble, Joe.
Come in.
Oh? Well, I expected to see Joe.
He isn't here.
No, so I see. You're Officer O'Connor, huh?
And what would you be wanting, me lad?
Well, my name is John. Now, this may strike you kind of funny, but I'm supposed to pick up the money.
Well, now that you say it, lad, it does strike me as kind of funny. And what are you aiming to do with this money, me boy?
Well, I don't rightly know. I mean, you and I are supposed to take it away.
Well, now. I must say I've thought of something like that before myself, but then there's my job to consider. I'm an officer of the law, me boy, and it wouldn't look nice. My dignity, you know.
No, look, officer. See, I'm the new usher here. I'm taking Joe's place when he leaves. I'm supposed to go to the night deposit vault with you.
Oh, now we're getting someplace. And how do we get it out of the safe?
Well, I've got the combination. Joe gave it to me.
Joe gave it to you? Well, now.
Well, what? Is something the matter?
No, I guess not. Seeing as you're taking Joe's place.
Let me see now. 3 left. Be funny if it wasn't here.
Strange sense of humor, me boy.
And 2 to the right. But I wouldn't be surprised.
What about? Speak up, me boy.
Well, there's something mighty,
What, dear boy? What?
Now, let's see. Yep. Yeah, it's here, all right.
Of course it's there, all right. Of course it is.
Well, now, wait a minute.
Oh, no, son. Not something else.
Now, wait a minute. How much did I say they weighed?
I don't remember, son. I don't remember you said.
5 pounds. I said 5 pounds.
Do you have a bit of a notion what you're talking about, son?
But it's more like 3 pounds now.
Come along now, son. Are you deaf?
I don't know. Maybe. Maybe not. Well, Joe, just a few more hours to go, huh?
Yeah, Sunday at last. I'm hanging my clothes up in this locker for the last time.
Uh-huh. Marge tells me you're taking a plane.
Yeah, that's right.
That's kind of expensive, isn't it? I mean, all the way to Mobile?
No, I don't know. I guess it is.
Joe, tell me something. How does this night deposit thing work?
Well, on weekends, we don't hold the day's receipts in the safe. Saturday's receipts couldn't be deposited in the bank on Sunday anyway.
Oh, I see. So if you held Saturday and Sunday's receipts in the safe, you'd have to wait until Monday to deposit.
That's right. And there's too much money there, so we deposit in the night deposit vault at the bank each night.
And those receipts don't get counted at the bank until Monday morning.
That's right. Tomorrow morning when the bank opens. Didn't Tex tell you?
No.
Well, wasn't he there when you came to take the money last night?
No, he wasn't.
Well, Tex told me. Never mind.
By the way, when are you leaving?
Right after I count up, we're taking the 10:30 out of LaGuardia.
Oh, well, that's fine. You thinking of coming back sometime?
Sure, why not?
Well, now, Joe, you sure you can come back?
Well, of course I'm sure. What do you mean?
Well, that's nice, Joe. Then I'll be seeing you.
Yeah, sure thing. And look, Johnny, do me a favor, huh? You get out, too. You come back some other time.
Why?
Because they'll kill you, Johnny. You owe Oscar money. That's the first step. How do you expect to pay back?
You know, I've been wondering about that. You see, the way Oscar said it yesterday, I mean, it sounded like a favor.
You can't pay him, Johnny, not on this salary.
Then how did you?
Oh, well,
Okay, Joe.
Now, look, Johnny, they're going to pull you into a racket. You're a guy like I used to be. Don't let them do it.
Well, what is the racket, Joe? You worked for Tex and Oscar, didn't you?
Well, Tex keeps his name out of it. Oh, it doesn't matter anymore. I'm on my way. Yes, I worked for him.
And they're letting you go?
Tex is. Oscar don't know anything about it.
So Tex is doing you another favor. I wonder what he's doing for Oscar. I'll see you at the terminal.
Come in.
Hi, Joe boy.
I've been waiting for you. I counted up. The money's in the safe.
Good boy, Joe. Here are the tickets and $100.
Well, what about Oscar?
Well, I'll take care of him.
But $100, it's not enough.
That's all I can spare.
Well, you said more.
Now, you want to go, don't you, Joe?
All right. Now, wait a minute. These tickets said Acapulco, Mexico.
That's right, son. That's where you're going.
Oh, now, wait a minute.
You haven't got too much time, son. 10:30 flight.
Well, now, just a minute, Ted.
No, Joe. You see, every time Oscar lost a bet, he'd tell the boys that he didn't know anything about it, that you'd taken the bet yourself. But that he covered anyway. He paid off the bet for you. Said you must have made a mistake. I'm saving you time, kid. Just let me talk. Now, this time Oscar got hit bad, and he said the same thing. But this time he said he couldn't cover. Said it was up to you to pay off.
That's ridiculous.
That's just what I told Oscar. So I figured it's better for you to go away. Far away.
But if I go away, they'll say I ran out. They'll come after me.
Not in Mexico. Not if you kind of stay off by yourself.
No, I'll stay here and I'll explain. I won't go.
I don't think you're going to get a chance to explain it, son. The boys are pretty mad. I don't think they'll believe you anymore.
But if I go, they'll... Well, what about Oscar? They're not dumb. They'll think Oscar rigged it for me to go so that he could get out from under and by blaming me.
Ah, you're getting smart, son. It's too bad you have to go just when you're learning so nice. That's right. They won't believe Oscar either.
Well, then you're wiped out. You're both wiped out anyway.
No. Not both of us, son. You see, I happened to come by a little cash. I was thinking I could help you out again and pay your little debt to the boys and Oscar's too. Boys kind of take to me after that, then I'd have a nice little business, and maybe you wouldn't have to stay in Mexico all your life.
You're double-crossing Oscar.
It's your only way, Joe. Oh, I wish you were smart like this when I picked you. You're getting smarter, and Oscar's getting dumber.
I won't go this way.
You don't go to Mexico standing up right this minute, son. You'll go to Mobile feet first.
Hello, Oscar. You don't mind if I call you Oscar, do you?
What are you doing here?
Well, Oscar, I've been thinking about our friendship and all, and I've been wondering.
All right, get to the point.
Well, I was thinking ushering's all right, you know, but I'd kind of like to get in business with you.
Business? Where's Tex?
Well, now, I didn't see any point in going to Tex. He'd only send me to you.
Now, what is this? Where is he?
Oh, he's at the movie house taking money out of the safe.
What are you talking about?
Well, Joe, you see, needed some money to go away, and Tex is just helping him out.
What? Where'd you get all this? Where's Joe going?
South for the summer.
Well, he can't go.
Well, Tex said he could.
Oh, you don't know what you're talking about.
Well, okay. I just thought I could get a nice job like Joe. See, I'm going now to see him off on the plane.
What?
Yeah, that's right. He and Marge. A honeymoon.
Where'd he get the money? Where's Tex?
I told you, over at the movie house taking money.
Don't go away.
Out of the safe.
Oh, Oscar, I was expecting Johnny back to pick up the money.
Maybe I can do it for you, Tex. I could use the money more than Johnny, and I could use it more than Joe.
Now, what's eating you, Oscar?
You know, you're making me sick, Tex. Looking at you is making me sick.
Oh, now you're as bad as Joe, Oscar. You're getting just as jumpy as Joe.
Yeah, but I don't get a plane ride. No honeymoon, Tex. Nobody wants to marry me because I'm broke.
Okay, Oscar, what is it?
Where's Joe?
He's on a plane. How'd you know?
Our new friend, Johnny Boy.
Where's he?
Look, I'm asking the questions now. Where'd he get the dough?
How should I know?
You know everything else, Tex. What kind of a deal did you two pull?
There ain't no deal.
Joe's on a plane, Tex. Somebody bought a ticket with dough.
Maybe he saved it.
He saved nothing. Now, go on, open the safe, Tex.
Come on now, put away the gun.
Open the safe, quick.
Don't be a fool, Oscar. You can't get away with this.
Now, look, I need the dough, Tex. I need it bad. With Joe gone, I need it bad enough to kill you.
All right, you got it. You got it, Oscar. Just don't get excited now.
All right, just talk fast, Tex. I'm very careful because I'm going to listen careful.
All right, Oscar, now you listen. I scared Joe out of town. I pulled the switch on the receipts here. There's nothing deposited at the bank but scraps of paper.
Where does Joe come in?
He counted up both days before he left. Now, the cops know that. He'll be in Mexico tomorrow, and it'll look like he skipped, so I'm hanging the whole job on him, and he'll never come back.
Where do I come in, Tex, my boy?
Oscar, it's for both of us, Oscar. Man, don't you see that we can pay off that long shot? With some to spare, we're back in business again.
Open that safe.
Oscar, the cop will be here any minute. It was easier to do this without you.
Nothing's easier without me except to cut me out. Now open the safe.
All right, Oscar. It ain't locked. There you are.
All right, now take the locks off the bag.
Oscar, I'll tell you.
Open them up.
Okay.
Good. Scraps of paper, very cute. Now let's have the dough.
Oscar, if you'll just let
No,
me...
Tex, let me. No, it's a funny thing, but I don't trust you no more. You must have got away with last night's receipts, but not tonight's yet. I'll take tonight's. We'll let Joe be the fall guy just the same, but you and me are breaking the partnership.
Okay, Oscar. Here's the dough.
Thank you. And don't try to pin anything on me, Tex, because I'll find Joe and let him break you apart.
What about Johnny?
What about him?
If he suspects anything, he can blow this thing up himself. We got to find him.
That's your worry, Tex. You see, I wasn't in on this. You did a good job, Tex. A very friendly job. Go find Johnny yourself.
Oh, you fellas looking for me? Ooh-wee. A gun. I mean, is that the kind of business we're in, Oscar?
Just come in here and close that door.
Well. Scraps of paper, huh? You know, I knew that weight was wrong.
We've been waiting for you, Johnny boy.
You have?
Yes, indeed. Oscar and me just happened to check this money. We found scraps of paper in the bags and the money in the desk. Now, ain't that nice?
No, it isn't. That ain't nice at all.
So when the cop comes, we're going to give him the money and arrest you as an accomplice to Joe.
Now, wait a minute.
Shut up, Oscar.
Did Joe take the money?
That's right, and you helped him. You pulled a switch and Joe skipped with last night's dough, leaving tonight's for you.
Well, now, I shouldn't have left it in the drawer, should I? And Joe and me shouldn't have come back.
Joe?
Yeah, he's right outside the door, and you made me shut it right in his face.
Go get him, Oscar.
Get in here, Joe.
Okie doke, Oscar.
Lock the door.
Yeah, okay.
All right, boys, you asked for it. Give me those bags, Oscar. I'll put them in the safe. There now. Now, here's the dough. These boys are going to disappear, Oscar. Take them out where they can't be found.
Now, look, Tex, maybe this is going a little bit...
You need money bad, don't you, Oscar? You need money bad enough to kill?
Okay, Tex.
And hurry, for Pete's sake.
Drop my gun.
Ah, God.
Right in the arm. Not bad shooting after being trapped in that closet these many hours. Johnny boy?
How'd you get in my closet?
I'm sorry to have cheated on you fellas, but Johnny put me up to it. And I guess us cops are just racketeers gone wrong.
Joe, do you think we'll make the plane?
In a police car, sure. You got to learn to take it easy, Marge. Mobile is a lazy town.
That's right, Margie. Not like New York. New York is a tough place to live.
Oh, well, I don't know about that. It's like home to me. New York's okay. You know, it's the out-of-towners that give it a bad name.
Suspense. You've been listening to Home is Where You Find It, written for Suspense by Edna Ray. Another tale well calculated to keep you in suspense. This is the CBS Radio Network.
It's the time of year for a party mood. It's the time of year for fun and food. To help your mood, your fun, your food. Nothing does it like 7-Up.
To help your party mood, your party fun, your party food, remember, nothing does it like 7-Up.
You're tuned to Radio 590, WROW, first on the dial in Albany.
Well calculated to keep you in suspense. Tonight, a well-honed accounting of a lethal impersonation. In just a moment, Stand In for Murder, written especially for Suspense by Gladys Gallant. Suspense. Answer it. Kay, answer it.
Jim, I can't. I'm afraid. My voice, it isn't her voice.
Will you answer it? Please, Kay, you've got to prove that Laura Morgan is still alive.
Oh, it stopped. Oh, thank God. Jim, this is agony. When that phone rings, I freeze. I can't talk.
Kay, listen to me. Laura's friends have to think she's leaving for Europe, and they have to hear it from her.
Her voice, I can't remember how it's supposed to sound. Don't you want... Play the tape again. That last show she did.
Okay. We'll play the tape again. We've gone over it and over it and over it.
Starring Ralph Foreman as
Pay attention, will you please?
and Laura Morgan as Ruth.
Pay particular attention to how she
Be quiet so I can listen.
Still shattered. Ruth dismayed but determined. These were the fateful words they exchanged.
Listen.
We're going to talk over.
All right.
We're the lovely party still.
Ruth, will I see you again?
What about Marion?
I think you got that. What about her?
The party's over.
Live home. It was just into a reflection.
There's an ending. I have to leave.
All right. Now let's try it. Now say, I have to leave.
I have to leave.
No. Pitch your voice higher.
I have to. Jim, it's no use. I can't do it.
Hey, you've got to. It's our only chance. Do you understand? Our only chance.
Thinking this must be a kind of dream, a terrible nightmare. When I awoke, everything would be just as it was before Jim asked me for a divorce. I would never agree. I knew there was somebody else, but I just kept hoping that someday he would come back to me. And one night... Jim.
I've got to talk to you, Kay.
The answer is still no.
It's not about the divorce.
Oh, really? I suppose you just dropped in for a drink. Is that it? Well, that's very nice. It's like old times.
Look, never mind about all that now.
Please, really, I insist. Oh, is this still on the rock?
Kay, please.
Just like us did, huh? On the rock.
I said never mind.
Her name's Laura Morgan, isn't that right? You know, I heard we looked so much alike. Oh, yes, I could give you a detailed description. You know, people that talk and all that jazz.
Okay, let up, will you?
Laura Morgan, tall, blonde, sometime actress, but full-time girlfriend. What's this, you night out?
Kay, stop it.
Sure.
I said stop it.
I mean, that's
I know just what you meant. Kay. She's dead. Laura is dead. It was an accident. You see, last night we had a terrible argument. I didn't want to marry her, Kay. I wanted to come back to you. Well, she became hysterical. She pulled out a gun. I grabbed it from her. It went off. She's dead.
Oh, Jimmy. Well, what are you going to do? Did you call the police?
Call the police? Kay, if I call the police, I wouldn't have a chance.
Jimmy, they will find her. They'll know it was you.
No. They'll never find her. Now, you see, I got her out of the apartment, down the stairs, and into the car. No one saw me. And then, near the bridge...
Now, stop, please. For God's sake, I don't want to know anymore.
I'm sorry, Kay. Sorry for this mess. Sorry I left you. Sorry for everything. Kay, I still love you.
Jimmy. What chance have we got now?
There is one chance. But it all depends on you, Kay.
On me?
Yes. Kay, would you help me set up an alibi?
An alibi?
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Jim. But how?
By becoming Laura Morgan.
"12 hours later, in a two-room apartment on a quiet street in the West 60s, I became Laura Morgan. As Jim planned it, it would be for only a few days, just long enough to establish her existence. But those few days were a lifetime of terror. There was the constant ringing of the phone right from the start. And the trouble I had imitating her voice. Acting wasn't my line at all.
Tomorrow.
And Jim playing that tape recorder so I could hear Laura's voice again and again.
Kay, you're just not getting it. Now, please, pay attention, huh?
Right.
All right. Now, we've got to get it right.
Will you be quiet?
All right. Just listen. With the fateful words they exchanged.
It was a lovely party, Bill.
You hear him?
It was up and down.
All right, I'm with you. Just pay attention.
What about Marion?
What about it?
The party's over. Party.
Live off. It was just beginning.
It's ending.
You hear that?
The phone is driving me crazy.
All right, answer it. I'll take the tape off.
No, let it ring.
Don't be a fool, Kay. Answer it.
Hello?
Are you the lady at apartment 4A?
Yes. What is it?
I'm a reporter from the Daily
reporter from the Globe. He wanted to ask me about the murder Wednesday night.
Murder? Wednesday night?
Jim,
Let it
please.
rain, let it rain. No, wait, pick it up.
Jim,
Go on, pick it up. Now say you're Laura Morgan and let him do the talking.
Hello?
This is the reporter from the Globe again. Are you the lady I was just talking to?
Yes, this is Laura Morgan. We were disconnected.
Now, about that murder, Miss Morgan. We understand you saw the killer's face as he passed you in the lobby.
Well, I didn't see anything. Who was killed?
Well, if you don't know, miss, then I guess you didn't see anything. Sorry to bother you. We were just checking all the tenants. Thank you.
Oh. Somebody was killed, but he doesn't know about Laura Morgan. Somehow I carried it off. Somehow I went on to establish the fact that Laura Morgan was still alive. The next day.
This is the Jiffy Cleaning Service, Miss Morgan.
Yes. What can I do for you?
About that powder blue wool suit you sent back to us. Our very best men worked on it to get that spot out that you complained about, Miss Morgan.
Oh, the spot. Yes. Did you get it out?
Miss Morgan, if you go out of your way to look for it, there's still the faintest remains. Frankly, any more solvents and you'd wind up with a hole instead of a stain. But if you don't know it's there, it isn't. You know what I mean? It's the best we can do.
I'm sure it'll be good enough, Miss...
You mean it'll be okay? The other day you nearly took my head off that it didn't come out right. Even when I explained there's just some things that you don't
Yes, well, just send it right back today, please.
Oh, yeah, sure. Right away, within the hour.
That afternoon, wearing Laura's powder blue suit, I left the apartment. My heart skipped a beat when I saw the doorman looking my way. I hurried past him, my face turned away.
Afternoon, Miss Morgan. A lovely day it is.
That's right. Jim's plan seemed to be working. To kill time, I went to a movie and then decided to walk home. It was a relief to be caught up in the anonymity of New York with its crush of people at 6 o'clock. I was just turning west on 64th Street when...
Look out, lady!
You all right, lady? What happened? What was it?
It was a concrete, a cornice or something. Fell right from the top of that brownstone.
If you're by an inch, you better call a policeman.
No. Please, I'm fine, really.
You ought to file a complaint, lady. You could have been killed.
No, I have to hurry. I'm very late.
Hey, lady. Well, you never can figure a dame. Here she's almost killed, and she has to hurry because she's late for her hair appointment.
Hello?
Laura Morgan?
Yes, this is Laura Morgan. Who is it?
That concrete block that dropped a few minutes ago.
Concrete block? What about it?
I just want to tell you, that was no accident.
No accident?
No accident. Just a little warning, Miss Morgan.
Who is this? What do you want? Who are you?
Next time, we won't miss. If you say one word about the murder, you're dead.
No. I stood there trembling in the darkness of the room. The crash of concrete on the pavement, the ominous, threatening voice on the telephone still ringing in my ears. Oh, I wanted to scream out, Laura Morgan is dead. But I had to protect Jim's alibi. I tried not to panic. I asked myself, if I were Laura Morgan, what would I do? I would call the police and tell them someone was threatening to kill me. Why not? Jim would still be safe. He needed a live alibi, not a dead one. I reached for the phone. Operator, get me the police department and hurry, please. The police department, this is Laura Morgan. I'd like
hang
to...
up the phone, lady. You hear what I said on the phone, Miss Morgan? One word about the murder, you're dead.
Who are you? What do you want? Look, I'm not Laura Morgan. You're making a very big mistake. She's dead. I tell you, she's dead.
What are you trying to pull? You're Laura Morgan, all right? You just sold her to the police.
No, let me alone, please. I'm not Laura Morgan. Laura Morgan is dead.
You know where she's gonna be. You talk too much. It's out the window for you. It's a case of suicide.
Police!
What?
Police!
Which way do they go, Miss Morgan?
Bedroom into the fire escape.
No, they won't get far. We have a squad car downstairs.
He tried to push me out
all
the
right.
window.
Take it easy. Take it easy. Take it easy. Come on. Take it easy. That's it. All right. Look, I'm from homicide. Lieutenant Kelly. We've been watching this building all day.
Why me?
You witnessed the gang killing at Clint Toback Wednesday night.
The racketeer?
Yeah, you're a late neighbor. He was shot right in his lobby. Doorman said you were coming in when it happened. Oh, were you?
Well, that must have been just before it happened.
Now, tell me, did you get a good look at the killer's face?
Sorry, I really can't remember. There were several people past me in the lobby. No, I really didn't notice.
He noticed you, all right. Where did you disappear to Wednesday night? We've been looking for you for 2 days, Miss Morgan.
I know. It seems a lot of people were looking for me. Police and newspapers. Oh, a killer. Well, I'm getting out of here.
It's safer to stay put. Until we apprehend that killer, Miss Morgan.
Stay here and take another chance of my life? Oh, no.
Don't leave this apartment, Miss Morgan. If you do, you'll wind up as dead as your late hood neighbor, Clint Toback.
Who is this?
It's me, Jim.
Oh, Jim.
I got here as soon as I could. What happened, Kay? I couldn't make out what you were saying on the phone. Oh, my God, you look awful.
Someone tried to kill me.
What?
I was almost killed.
All right. Now, who? I don't understand.
Laura Morgan witnessed a murder right here in this lobby Wednesday night. Did she say anything to you about it?
Oh, we had other things to talk about.
The killer is after her, even if she didn't see his face, if he thinks she can identify him. If she didn't know.
All right. Now, look, you've got to get out of here, Kay. Now, you start packing. I'll try to get you on a plane tomorrow night.
Now, wait a minute. The police said I can't go anywhere until they catch the killer.
Police?
They said I'd be safer here. They're watching this building.
Police? Kay, are you out of your mind and you get me over here?
Jim, I had to. Don't you see? You've got to tell them the truth. Now you've got to tell them Laura Morgan is dead.
Tell them? Why, ruin my life, our life, Kay?
Well, what is the matter with you? You didn't commit murder. It was an accident. The police will understand that.
Sure. I'm sure they'll be very understanding.
Jim, don't you see? If you tell the police, it will be in the papers, on the news broadcast. Don't you understand? Then nobody will try to kill Laura Morgan if she's already dead.
I see one thing. I've got to get out of here and fast. Look,
Police, Miss Morgan.
just remember you're Laura Morgan. As long as they believe that, we can get away.
I had a report a man was seen coming up here.
Oh, yes. That was just a friend, Lieutenant. Oh, please, won't you come in?
Thanks.
This is Mr. Benson, Lieutenant.
Benson?
Jim Benson. Miss Morgan tells me she's been having some trouble, Lieutenant.
Yeah, quite a bit of trouble, Mr. Benson. Miss Morgan, I'm afraid I have to tell you there's more trouble.
What do you mean?
Well, there seems to be some question about your identity.
Did you say my identity?
Yeah, the doorman of this building seems... Well, come in, Brady. We can settle this right now.
Oh, this is ridiculous, Lieutenant. This is an invasion of privacy.
At the moment, Miss Morgan's life is hardly private. All right, what do you say, Brady? Is this Laura Morgan?
No. No, that's not Laura Morgan. No, sir.
Are you positive?
When you put me back on the door today, sir, I knew she wasn't Miss Morgan. She wore the same suit, and she even looks like her. But that walk, and the way she kept her face turned away, they made me fix her. No, sir. This lady here isn't Laura Morgan.
What do you mean I'm not Laura Morgan?
Laura.
Never heard of her.
Okay. All right, who are you, miss? Why are you impersonating Laura Morgan?
Don't say a thing, Laura. I'm calling my attorney.
And who are you, Mr. Benson? Did you set this woman up as a decoy so you could kill the real Laura Morgan? We haven't found her yet, but the police are dragging the river.
Jim.
All right, just stay where you are, all of you. I'll answer it. Hello?
Lieutenant Kelly?
Speaking.
This is Blaine.
Oh, yes, Captain.
Don't let that woman get away, Kelly. We'll be right over. Laura Morgan has been found and identified.
Oh, come on in, Captain.
This the woman, Kelly?
Well, this is the lady who says she's Laura Morgan, Captain.
It's very interesting. And the man?
I'm Jim Benson. May I ask what you're doing here before I call my attorney?
Certainly, Mr. Benson. I just came around to introduce Laura Morgan to Laura Morgan.
What?
Okay, Mac. Bring her in. Miss Morgan, meet the real Laura Morgan.
I don't understand, Jim. You said she was dead.
Laura, are you all right, Laura?
Yes, darling. But, Jim, my timing was off as usual. I guess I was at the wrong place at the wrong hour. I did just what you said Wednesday night, but they managed to find me.
Jim, you knew she was alive. You knew somebody wanted to kill her, and you made me take her place.
And you botched it. Just as you botched your marriage, Kay Benson.
Jim, you said you killed her. You said you wanted me. You said
Never mind what I said, Kay.
Now, that's a farce. We want to know exactly what you said, Mr. Benson.
God, you wanted me to be killed. You wanted me to be killed so you could marry her.
I begged you. I pleaded with you for a divorce, Kay.
And when she wouldn't give it to you, you set your wife up as a target for Laura Morgan's killer.
Oh, Jim, how could you?
Take him to headquarters, Kelly. This is really one for the books. A stand-in for murder.
Suspense. You have been listening to Stand-In for Murder, starring Terry Keane and Larry Haynes, and written especially for Suspense by Gladys F. Gallant. Suspense is produced and directed by Fred Hendrickson. Music supervision by Ethel Huber. Heard in tonight's story were Claire Neeson, Ivor Francis, Bob Reddick, Tony Darnay, Bill Lipton, Jack Grimes, and Joseph Julian. Listen again next week when we return with Formula for Death, written by Jonathan Bundy. Another tale well calculated to keep you in Suspense.